So, and then just give me a relic rundown at the end. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's run through secondaries real quick. So
I'll pull it up. It has all of that.
yeah, no worries. I'm gonna give you mine. So I'm taking Herd the Prey, Assassinate.
I'm so shocked. You're blowing my mind holes here.
Yeah, and Raise.
Yep. I'm gonna take Battlefield Supremacy.
Okay.
Grind them down.
So you're gonna take Stubborn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Yep. And then mission one.
Grind and minimize.
Yep.
Now, how many units do you have? Like, what do I need to kill to make this realistic?
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13, 14, 15? Okay, gotcha. So I'm just going to put, so we don't have to think about it later, like 15 use.
Yeah, it's basically every 5 down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
No,
pretty much.
Pretty close.
Yeah, I get there. Yeah, we get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. What's your relic warlord trait situation?
Oh, sure. Right.
I know Azrael rolls people back a doctor and stuff.
Yeah, he does, and he has his, he does his whole thing. Let me pull up the rest.
Yep, I'm going to just
Here we
set
go.
my deployments on. Oh, yep, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to say the one with the auto cannon has the Heavenfall Blade.
Okay.
So he's got the Heavenfall Blade, Imperial, and then the Imperium Sword Warlord trait.
How can you tell the difference?
This one has no...
Oh, wait, this one has a sword.
Yeah.
Let's do that one.
Well, no, they both have swords. Sorry,
Oh.
I didn't realize that this one has the purple autocannons on top.
Oh,
This one
okay,
has the purple
so the
autocannons on
purple,
bottom.
okay.
Yep.
So Imperium Sword, Heavenfall Blade.
Yep.
What's the
Arbiters,
Heavenfall Blade do?
+1 attack. He's strength 6, AP, like a bunch.
Oh, yeah, billion.
2
Yeah,
damage.
take my invuln.
Yeah, yeah. 2 damage.
So he's 6 attacks on the charge?
Yeah.
7 because of
7,
the sword.
yep.
Got it.
And then we've got the Arbiter's Gaze, of
Always
course.
2s, yep.
Yep. All the goodies. And then there's nothing.
Actual warlord
Azrael.
trait?
Azrael is my actual warlord.
Yep.
So, and then so I'm sorry, I have 1 less CP because I also bought the relic for my Blade Guard Agent, the Pennant of Remembrance.
Yep.
And then I paid for the points upgrades on my all my goodies on my
Apothecary?
Yeah.
Does he have the warlord trait?
Yes.
So we're
Or
at 1
no,
less?
Yeah, 1 more. So
4.
4. Yep. I haven't played this list before,
All
guys.
good.
So working on it. Yep.
So 4.
Yep. Because he's got the selfless healer.
Understood.
Yep.
Okay, so we got a warlord trait here and here. We have relics here.
And warlord trait here.
Here. Got it. So we're at 3 warlord traits.
Yep.
-2 for that. And the relics. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So we're at 6 for detachments.
+2.
+2. So down to 4.
4.
And then -2 for warlord traits.
So -4 again, so we're back at 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
so just
4. Yep.
Cool. So you start with 4. We did it as a team together.
Yeah, I'm like, I think that, and then we're like, I'm like, oh no, I did take all the
Do you have
goodies
anything on
everywhere.
a deep strike?
No, I'm
Okay.
not deep
My
striking
boats are
anything.
what I explained earlier.
Yep.
And then the Scourge is actually going to start on the board in this mission.
Where did my tapes go?
I'm just going to take random dice and make a deployment board so I don't get confizzled.
18, right?
Yes, sir. Pardon me, Nick. It's one way to get aberrants on the table. I have a million dice on my hand, so you can have those back.
No worries.
So all of these are just like breachable then, yeah? We can just run
Yep.
through them, yeah.
I mean, except for this guy.
Yes. Oh, that's not breachable even.
You can go on top of it, but
Okay.
it's all true movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't go through it.
No.
Got it. I could just fly over it if
Yeah.
I fly, but
Yeah.
okay, got it.
I guess the Hellions.
The Hellions and the Cult of Strife stuff
Yep.
can have 1
Yep.
CP flip
Yep.
belts.
Where did all my dice
You want
laid
these?
out go?
Yep. I remember you put them over here before, and you look incredibly comfortable, so I'm going to just let you rock. Did you put a unit down or you set up the deployment?
Well, no, I had set out dice and then someone picked them up. I don't know.
Oh. There's a 10 to 15% chance that was my fault.
No worries.
I don't remember doing it, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense if someone just ran over and was like, ah,
Yeah.
no more deployments.
I think you were just recollecting dice as
Yes.
a habit. It's a pretty normal habit to have.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Over
Talking a
here.
bit.
Got
Bit,
some
I
bit,
know.
bit,
I don't know if
bit.
I can. I don't know if I can talk enough because Adam's just not going for anything that I have to say today. Like, what
Nah.
the fuck, man?
Nah. 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 Resist.
You clearly haven't seen what a Void Raven Bomber does to MSU. Just
I
saying.
have. I have. I've played against.
No.
So of those 9 games that I lost to the Void Ravens, I played. I think it was 3 or 4 of them. Sorry, of 9 games I lost to Dark Elder. Three or 4 of them were against Void Ravens, and then that guy realized the Void Ravens didn't mean shit and dropped them, and we didn't play with him thereafter.
Nope. Because he doesn't know how to use them. He can't roll 4-ups. What is this?
It was Matt Morrisoli, and yeah, he definitely bad at the game. Fucking
Yep,
terrible.
definitely terrible. Nope,
Terrible.
that's it.
No
No.
skill whatsoever.
Mammo Solely playing Dark Elder.
Stuff in
Nope.
chaos. You're right.
No,
He's right.
no, he didn't play all through 8th edition when they were shit. He doesn't. It doesn't count.
It's true. Are we live?
Hooray!
Are we
Do
live?
we have the stream? Do we have the stream out there? Or are we watching this? There we go. Hooray! There we go.
Damn, look at us go.
Oh,
Hello, ladies and
baby.
gentlemen. Welcome to this team's round of Charity Hammer. And I'm myself, I am Adam Camilleri, and we are joined by. Oh man, they heard the Matt Morrisoli's trash. That's so good. Yes. and I'm joined by the wonderful scarred one himself, Mr. Ridvan Martinez. How you doing, brother?
Dark Kin indeed. Adam Camilleri having a lot of fun here in Charity Hammer. Just an update in terms of the Charity Hammer donations. There's we've raised over $17,000, where the goal is $20,000. There's still plenty of weekend to go, so if you haven't already, open your wallets, folks. Let's go and crush that goal and make magic happen.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is all for the one of the most wonderful causes, and um all props and congratulations to the Biff Pod team for putting this on for the 3rd year in a row. Incredible effort by them. This is, and I can tell you right now, as it hasn't gone last year, this is a crazy amount of work to get up and going. And every year they take it on, they smash it out, all for one of the best causes that can be done for providing entertainment and care for sick kids. Now, we are here with one of 5 games happening right now. This is my man, the Mitchy P, Mitch Pelham versus Anthony Vanilla. This is essentially Adam in proxy as Mitch playing Angels, in Anthony in proxy for Sky playing Dark Elder. That's what we were discussing as he came on, and I was just pretty much saying how much I hate playing as Dark Angels into Dark Elder, having gotten my ass handed to me by Mr. Matt Morrisoli 9 games out of 9 games in a row in that matchup. Scary, tell us a little bit about what's going on here. What do you see so far, and what are your predictions?
Well, I love this list, by the way. Like the Chronos, the Dark Techno Chronos are really, really strong with their super busted flamers. And this mission, I feel, especially this deployment type, is one of my favorites when playing as the Dark Eldar. Because you have lots of depth in your deployment zone. You know, it kind of forces your opponent to come to you. Like you can play banners, you can play Herd the Prey, and really sort of dictate the pace of the game while putting a lot of pressure on those 2 objectives that your opponent has up towards the midboard. Especially in this table. Like this table, you can't really hold any objectives on this table without getting absolutely nuked. Like there's no way to hold objectives without dying. So that's gonna be
Yeah,
very
spot on.
interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna, the Dark Eldar Chronos are really gonna like that. The Dark Lances, like all that sort of thing's gonna really like, you know, all those Dark Angels sitting out in the open, ready to get shot, which will be really fun.
Well, so you said right there, this mission. What is this mission? This mission is a retrieval mission. This is hammer and anvils deploying upon the short edge to any 18 inches up. This is a hold 1 for 5, hold 2 for 10, etc., etc. And this is minimize losses as the secondary. Now, I'm quite interested to know if either of these gentlemen take it. We'll see if we can get our table boss online at some point and tell us what the secondaries are for these gentlemen. But minimize losses, literally, you literally take a punt at the start of the game and bet you're not going to lose most of your army and bang some points at the end. Now, I don't think that's a particularly good pick for either of these gentlemen, but if someone was going to pick, it's probably most likely to be Mitch, seeing as he's invested a lot in these durable elements. that might be a bit of a risky one for him in this thing. But yeah, what do you think about this mission? Do you think doubling down? I think this favors the Dark Eldar quite heavily, but it does have some opportunities there for Mitch if he's willing to take the game on.
I think, Mitch, because it's a hold one, it's one of those games where Dark Angels just can score points by not doing very
Yeah,
much, right?
spot on.
Like they can just score points by sitting there and score, anywhere from 60 to 80 points just by being alive, which
Breathing.
is something that just by sitting there. Now, I believe Anthony is lucky that there's not like an objective in the middle of the board, so something like doubling up on Oath of Moment and Stubborn Defiance is not really an option
Yeah, I don't.
for the
Mm.
Dark Angels in this mission.
So he's taken a couple of tech pieces that would enable him to get a good score on Oath of Moment, but on this mission, getting a 15 on it's probably out of the question without just bleeding out and playing into exactly what Anthony wants you to do. I can tell you right now from our table boss, we just had it updated. Mitch has taken Stubborn Defiance. You've got to assume that's the right most objective in his deployment zone, obviously.
Where that Talmaster is,
Yeah,
protected by
probably
his,
with a
Terminator Command Squad, I would
yeah.
assume.
Who would have thought? He's also taken Grind Them Down, so he's going for Kill More, and he's taken minimize. He actually has taken Minimize Losses. I had a sneaking suspicion he might go for it, but we will see. Because the thing is, he
Well,
has
how
taken
many
some.
how many units does the Dark Angel army have in
He
total?
actually has quite a few because he's known about this matchup. He's tech for this matchup, and he's taken quite a few different things. I'll run down his list right now, and then we'll go into Mr. Vanilla's secondaries and list. So he's got Dark Angels, of course, starts with an Outrider. This is a Ravenwing Outrider. He's got two Talamasters, one with Arbiter's Gaze, and one is actually my favorite, a little sneaky choppy Talamaster with Head and Fall Blade and Imperium Sword. This is his Warlord. Then he has a Ravenwing Apothecary. Oh, sorry, it's not his Warlord. Azrael's his Warlord. Has a Ravenwing Apothecary with Selfless Healer, of course. Then he has a Ravenwing Champion with Anastasia's Grenade Launcher. Then he has two single attack bikes, 3 units of 3 just bikes, just OBSEC bikes because of the Ravenwing deal. Then he has a Vanguard attachment, this one with Azrael, who is his Warlord, of course, has Brilliant Strategist. Ezekiel with Mindworm and Righteous Repugnance and Engulfing Fear. Then he has a Deathwing Ancient with the Planet of Remembrance for the -1 damage banner. 2 units of 3 Deathwing Command Squads, 1 Thunderhammer Storm Shield, 2 Lightning Claws of each, and 1 unit of 10 Deathwing Terminators. 4 Thunderhammer Storm Shield, and the rest Power Fist and Stormbolter with 2 Cyclones in there in addition. So he has a Dagger Brick. He has 2 little command squads, and then he has a bunch of MSU. I don't know if Minimize Losses is going to be good for him, because you look at just the Ravenwing portion of his army. He's got 5 units there that he's going to have to use to win the primary, and he's going to bleed out like half of his elements just to try and win the primary, and therefore cut his Minimize Losses down quite a
I'll
bit.
tell you right now, we just had the roll to go first. It seems like Mitch did win the roll to go first, and so the Dark Angels will be going first, which also means that like grind them down. Or is it bring it down that he brought? Bring it down. He brought.
No, it did grind him down.
Grind them down. So grind them down could also be a bit of a trap, knowing that the Dark Eldar player can now really control the kill more towards the
Yeah.
end of the battle rounds as well.
I agree. I think this looks pretty good for Anthony. I think if he wanted the choice, he definitely wanted to go second here. But look, Mitch has positioned a couple of things quite cutely. You see where the one Talonmaster is on the top of the screen? I would take a punt and say that's the choppy Talonmaster. And if you guys don't know why that guy's in the list, it's because he will sneak out. He will go around a corner with his ridiculous 18-inch move. He'll kill something, charge something,
Well,
kill
on the first
something.
turn, don't they move a little faster too?
He moves 21 turn 1, my man, which is
Yeah,
exactly why he's out there.
right? Yeah.
So he's going to go
And
21
then
inches.
he can move back, right, too, after fighting. He'd be like,
Dude,
and bye-bye.
spot freaking on. And that's exactly what that boy's going to do. One of those top raiders is going to get heavily invested in. He's going to jump 21 inches forward, dacker down a raider. Maybe it's kind of 50-50 whether one Talonmaster kills a raider. It really depends on how many 5s you roll for the heavy bolters, because once you boil down the 2s to hit, 4s to wound off the assault cannon, you do like 4 wounds. So you need to get like 2, 3, 4, 5s to wound on the heavy bolter, so they need to overperform. But in between shooting and combat, a Talonmaster, especially with the Heavenfall Blade, will almost certainly kill a raider. He's going to bounce 21 inches back and pretty much get his funk on, so to speak. But yeah, look, Mitch probably didn't want to go first, but not the worst thing in the world for him. Have you got
He's
the?
got the options for it too, and of course he's got the command squads behind the terrain, protecting the Talon Masters, of course, from any sort of retaliatory fire. He's got his big block of Terminators on what we can assume is going to be a Stubborn Defiant objective. And of course, he has the bikers and attack bikes in sort of like flanking positions. Now, going second for the Dark Elder, I think, is probably one of the best scenarios. Moving quickly means he's probably guaranteed a 15-point turn 5, which
Yeah,
means
yeah.
that it's gonna be on Mitch to really sort of like push up and stop the Dark Elder from scoring early. But
Well,
is that something he can do?
and
I
this
don't know.
Well, this comes back to what the instructions have been from the captains here. This is a Mitch where, so this is a game where Mitch has taken the bus into Anthony, or vice versa. Mitch could be going into this with some very conservative advice from his captain, being Nick Nanavati, being like, "Hey man, this is a bad matchup for you on this
Just
table,
get points, right?
so just
Just
get the
like
points. Make
now, are
sure
they
you
doing win-loss or are they doing points
they're
in
doing
this bracket?
different. They're
Now,
doing differential."
okay. So for anybody who's just tuning in and wondering what the heck is going on, we're shoutcasting one of 5 games, and we'll be bringing you some updates on the different games that are happening in this what is a team event. So we had John Lennon, Nick Nadavati each pick a crack squad of 5 players, including themselves. So they each captaining a team in what is going to be a 5-person team event. That means there are currently 5 games of competitive 40K happening, and they had a session earlier where you can catch the sessions live. We're live on BitPod here. We're live on Canhammer TV. We're live on the Art of War YouTube channel, and we're live on Frontline Gaming Network that has lent Charity Hammer its platform for the weekend as well. And they had a whole discussion how to do pairings, how to do matchups. They did the whole process live, and it is up in the replays.
Mhm.
So this is one of the 5 games, and it's probably a matchup that they took or that Mitch's team took, and I believe Mitch is on Nick Nanavati's team,
He is, yeah,
to try and get a better matchup, to stoke
yeah.
up the Drukhari, which are definitely like,
Well,
one of the strongest armies that you can have right now.
literally, if some people say they're equal strongest, I think they're second strongest. I think Admex easily atop the pile, clear
Right.
due to the Book of Fire, even with their nerfs. But perfect segue, mate. Let's talk about this Dark Eldar list. This is Anthony Vanilla, currently ranked number 10 in the freaking ITC in the world. He has taken Herd the Prey, Assassinate, and Raise Banners as his secondaries. So that tells you a little bit about his game plan. He hasn't taken Hold More because, of course, it conflicts with Herd the Prey. But he's taken Herd the Prey into Dark Angels, knowing they are a slow army. To deny those points
It's
means
also
him
because it's a hammer
bleeding
and
out.
anvil detachment.
Exactly, man.
Hammer and anvil. It's also
Deployment.
banners. It means that like you're forcing the Dark Angels to come to you.
Now,
And now,
so
hurt the prey
here's
and get banners up. That's what I would pick in this scenario. As
I
an
would so
assassinate,
the one thing I wouldn't go for is banners. I wouldn't have gone for banners here. Knowing he has that Daka brick and looking at the deployment, seeing that you cannot put banners up on those objectives without them being shot. Anything you put on those three objectives on your side of the table is just going to get mauled and destroyed instantly by
no,
Talon Masters and Terminators.
but the banners, you put them up like, and they just go up at the end of your player turn. Like it just takes a
Yes,
turn to go up.
but you see what Mitch has in his army. He can just have one unit, go and just pull those banners down, whatever he wants.
Correct.
And
100%.
so that's where
Now,
I
but
don't.
the
That's
thing
where I
is,
don't like it.
agreed, agreed. But in terms of game plan, I believe it's good if the Dark Angel player keeps on sending resources close to the Dark
That's true.
Elder,
That's true. And
right?
but
Like if
and
you
it's seeing.
force him to just send stuff up, then he's wasting resources that he can't easily afford, and the Dark
And yeah.
Elder doesn't have to go very far to kill things.
And
It's like
now
everything's coming to him.
what I will say is that now you've seen both options for objectives. What both secondaries have been taken. I think Raise the Banners is genius. Now that he knows what Mitch has taken, because Mitch has taken objectives that lead you to believe he thinks he's going to lose if he tries to contest the table. So he's literally pretty much going to sit 2 objectives, try and contest a third to stop you getting a 15, and that's it. Mitch is going to sit the top two objectives in the right hand corner are going to be his the entire game most likely, and the bottom left hand one, the bottom right hand one on his side, he's just going to chuck something on it when he has to, and that's going to be his game plan because that's the only way he doesn't bleed out on minimized losses, and that's how he doubles down and makes sure he's going to keep enough strength there to guarantee the 15 on Stubborn Defiance. Now,
100%. I'll tell you right now, Mitch, with what we've just seen right now in his movement phase, is playing for a draw.
He is.
He
He's playing
is
for his
he is
smallest.
playing to just get. He's not. He's gonna sit back. You know, you can't shoot the Talon Masters while they're next to those the company
Their
veteran
bodyguards.
squads, the
Yep.
bodyguard squads. He's got a big unit Terminators that he can bring back with the apothecary. You know, he's essentially putting as little as possible. You know, he's just not committing, and it's going to
Exactly
take the
right.
Dark Eldar 2 turns to get to him,
Mm.
right? And
L-
he's going to try and use that as he's going to use that time as much as possible, force the Dark Eldar to come to him. The Dark
Yep.
Eldar score their points, but it is a differential, which means, you know, like if he's looking for an 8 points or a 7 points out of 20, you know, it's up to the Dark Eldar if they would need a 20 out of this to kind of get aggressive.
Exactly right. If they want to get if they exactly spot on, brother. So obviously Mitch has been told, hey man, you are literally under the bus. The bus is on top of you. Don't die. Just don't let the bus kill you. Take some injuries, take a battery, cop it on the chin. Don't get completely knocked out. And this is what I really like about keeping the bikes to late game. When I play with bikes myself, when I play with OPSEC bikes, the one thing I don't want to do is be forced to use them early. I want them late game to disrupt your scoring in the middle. The turns 2, turn 3, turn 4, especially when the Dark Eldar army gets more and more activated as the game goes on. Turn 2, this man wants to start slinging. The Dark Eldar
You
player
know
wants to
what's
start
good at
slinging
killing
Drukhari.
bikes that are hiding?
Everything.
Avoid Raven Bomber.
It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. But let me quickly take you through Anthony's list, guys, and then I'll get you to unpack it for us, being the Drukhari player of the two of us. Starts off with a custom coven. Dark Technomancers, no surprises here. But so it's got Drazar, who is a warlord, means he has got Hatred Eternal. He can kill pretty much everything in the game. Unit of Rax, 2 units of 3 Chronos. Mwah, love them to death. They're freaking amazing. A patrol attachment, this one of Cult of Strife, has a succubus with what you'd expect. Adrenal Light, competitive edge, tolerated ambition with Triptych Whip. A unit of 10 Hecatotric Blood Brides, 1 Shardnet and Impaler, with Morvane's Agonizer in addition, and that's a nice little upgrade there. 5 Incubi and 10 Hellions. Patrol Detachment. This one is Black Heart. It has an Archon with Splinter Genius and the Djinn Blade and Tolerated Ambition in addition. Unit of Trueborn, 2 Blasters and a Dark Lance, as you would expect. A unit of 9 Incubi, which I'm actually becoming a really big fan of. Another unit of 5 Incubi. So that is all 3s. That's 2 units of 5, 1 unit of 9 Incubi. A single unit of Scourge with 4 Shredders, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Dark Lancers. 3 of them with Grizzly trophies, 1 of them without. Now, some interesting stuff here, and obviously looking at this table now for everybody at home as well, there's some interesting omissions. I'm pretty sure the Hellions aren't on the table, unless they're right at the back, right at the back. Actually, in fact, I think they are.
I think they are right at the back there. They've got the speed and there's enough terrain they can kind of hop,
Mm-hmm.
skipping a jump from terrain piece to terrain piece. Like now we're seeing the Dark Eldar go into their first turn. You know, he's gonna be aggressive. He's gonna start like moving up the board, especially on that flank, which Mitch is essentially giving up. You know, he's gonna go try kill the attack bikes. You know, I'm curious, how many units does the Dark Angel army have?
You
Like
may
how
count
many
them,
different units?
you may count them off for you. I'll have a quick count. You
Yeah,
keep
that'd
going.
be great.
Tell us a little bit about some of the tech options he's taken in this Dark
Well,
Eldar
some of the
list.
like first and foremost, you know, the competitive edge Triptych Whip Succubus is probably like a very consistent damage dealer. He's got great like damage as well in Drazar. He's got another like good killy character in the Archon with the Djinn Blade. You know, and of course the Kronos that you know combined with the Archon, you know, Drazar, the Incubi, you know, the Incubi going in, rerolling ones to hit from the Archon. They're getting +1 to wound with Drazar, and then if he's got any probes on those Chronos, they're also rerolling ones to wound.
Yeah, he has
Which,
got spirit. Has got a spirit probe in each unit as well.
yeah, which makes them incredibly efficient at killing everything. Now, there's everything. They'll kill anything from a knight all the way to just like hordes of infantry and whatnot, which does make them very, very killy. We will be going over chat as well. Anybody listening or watching, we'll be going over the other pairings and the other matchups and kind of like what our thoughts are with that. Now, he does have the 4 Raiders, which is good. The Hellions are a good countercharge unit, which I think is very important to use too. I'm really curious to see like how he does use them. Like right now, it seems like he's just going to be putting up his banners. He's going to be
Yeah.
using all the little units effectively. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. I think the Kronos, if they soak up a lot of damage, they're going to be doing a lot of work. So,
Mm.
um, But Dark Angels have like a silly amount of firepower when you get when you get close enough to them. So that'll be curious to see how that works.
Yeah, spot on. This is an interesting one, and this is I'm of the opinion in Mitch's shooting phase, he shot one Talonmaster and then the heavy bolters from another into the Chronos. Looks like there's 3 wounds done to one. Looks like the one's got 4 remaining. And then apart from that, I think he maybe he got to draw line of sight with his Cyclones on his Terminators, and that was a sum total of his turn. Just did some jockeying for position. I do like where the Talonmaster is. How the Talonmaster is another objective. He knows he can't get charged turn one, can't be shot due to bodyguard, and he's got a unit of Terminators in an obscuring ruin, which I'm not sure. I don't think there's windows on the front of that, so I'm not even sure that unit could be Darklanced. So yeah, that Talonmaster is the safest it's ever going to be. That Talonmaster can't be there next turn, which is funny because it can be charged by. You see the Raider that's just gone just below on the left-hand side, that middle piece of terrain. That's a doable charge next turn from that position. On top of that, I think he's just rolled a nice chunky charge on the Talos, and they're gone up to an aggressive position
I
themselves.
run. They just advanced up really
Yeah.
fast. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what these Talos are good for. You think about Beasts of Nurgle for Chaos or Spawn. You want these things that go up and just apply some pressure turn one. I think a lot of people have realized playing into the Drukhari matchup in turn one, and especially if you go first, your turn one and turn two, you can always do whatever you want because there's not going to be a lot of pressure on you until turn two, turn three, turn four. And so yeah, I quite like it a lot. Now this one I'm not too sure about. You see, he's just jumping some raiders out into the open. What do you think about that move? Do you think that's kosher? That's fine.
I think instead of going you should be worried about those bikes coming around the edges and stuff. Like I would definitely kind of spread them out a little bit. They're a little close. And if you're gonna move raiders up, a lot of the times you want to keep the butt of the raider up against a piece of terrain so that if they do
Exactly.
kill the
So
raider, you can get
disembark.
the guys out
Yeah.
behind the terrain.
So
I
my
think that's
assumption
an important
my
part as well.
assumption was we were going to see a couple of CP spent, and we were going to see both those raiders sit pretty much. We were going to see pretty much a redeploy to the bottom of the table by the Drukhari player, which is what I thought we were going to see happen. We're going to see him sweep around below that big piece of line of sight blocking terrain and start going for the bottom of Mitch's line, which is obviously the weaker side. Isolate the bikes, keep him out of the game, go after the Stubborn Defiance. As soon as you beat Stubborn Defiance, that 20-point win is just open for you. You can get it.
Yeah. Another thing I would have potentially done is I'm a huge fan of rapid outflanking. Putting a raider back into reserve off of the sides and then forcing like every angle to be open against the Dark Angels and let they zone out like everything. I think that's a very powerful move, especially in this type of deployment.
And look,
as well.
the Trueborn don't have a lot of good hunting options where they are right now when the bikes can just stay out of range. You put them off the table, those bikes are juicy ass targets, and especially a lot of these characters. See where a lot of characters for Mitch are? They're right at the right hand side of the board. I don't believe there's a bodyguard unit there. They're not screened by anything. There's nothing to stop them getting picked up if something did get around the back. And that would just keep him honest.
I want everybody to note is the objective that Anthony's left in his backfield is only held by 5 Tabalites that decided to put up a banner. That is just asking to get nuked by a Talon Master.
That's what I thought.
So I think that's a mistake. I think he should have kept either one of the raiders touching it or a character or something else on there as well.
This tells me this is a lot of it's really interesting, and this is why I've got Scary on here with me because we're both players who played WTC. We live, breathe, and believe wholeheartedly that team format is the best format in the world. And right now we're seeing literally the theory of the team format play out. Mitch has been told, don't get smashed, don't let this man destroy you and get a 20. And literally Anthony has been told to go get a 20. He's pushing up turn one. There's no advance and charge, no improved invuln. He's just, son, go get him, go smash him, kick down his front door, take all his points. And you're seeing it play out on the table. Even from turn one, their first movements tell you what their captains expect of them.
And I love it. I think that's great. Talking about captains, talking about teams, why don't we go over and refresh everybody what the teams are? John Lennon's team versus Nick Nalavati's team, and who they picked, and what each person is playing, and then the matchups, the 5 different games that we're seeing pan out.
Yeah, man. So the first team, I'll run over quickly. I'll give you guys the factions as well. We don't have time to go through the lists. We'll go through them as they become relevant. Nick Nanavati got first pick because it was captain's pick. Like schoolyard. Picking your game for basketball at lunchtime. Nick got the first pick, and Nick chose Brad Chester. Then he's also chosen Alex McDougall, Mark Perry, and Mitch Pelham to be on his 5-man team.
Well, that is a stacked team. That is a stacked team, Adam.
So when we went into, we'll talk about it in a sec, but we talked about how these teams line up against each other in team format Events, but tell us who's on Lennon's team first.
Okay, so Lena's team is you're gonna have to give me a second because I clicked the wrong button.
You
And it sent
potato.
me it's I'm sorry. Okay. Here we go. So we have Mr. Timpe, we have Lennon, picked Mr. Timpe, Colin, Anthony, and Kilton, Richard Kilton. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's of course names that we've heard before and that we've seen before in the competitive scene. But I will say my vote goes to Nick having the more stacked team personally.
Yeah, mine too. When you look, especially looked at the team format, Nick himself is a two-time WTC winner at like the highest level of the game, in our opinion. I think you agree with that, Scary. WTC is the pinnacle of the game.
If you ever go to that event, you will be humbled because you think you're good
Yes,
at the game
you are
until
good.
you
I know.
play at the WTC.
Every game is a top table at a major, essentially. And then
Correct.
on top of that, he has Brad Chester, who's been to 9 of the damn things representing his country. So just between the two of them, the fact that you have one team that has like essentially 11, 12 WTC years of experience on it to the other team having 0, we thought this thing was heavily in their favor. But that's not what I think the assumption we have come to when we've seen what the pairings are. The pairings look quite heavily, in our opinion, in John Lennon's favor on the matchups. But quickly, I'll run through the factions on Nick Nardivardi's team. Nick Nardivardi himself is playing Sisters. Then there's Alec McDougall playing Forces of the Hive Mind, a conglomeration of mostly Tyranids and then a patrol of GSC. Oh, sorry, Nick Nardivardi's archetype is actually quite interesting. He's taken an MSU approach, but a lot more OBSEC. I think he's taken a bit more of a shield Sisters role, and I'll get you to tell people about sword and shield and defenders and things like that in a moment, Scary. But he's taken quite what I believe is a shield list. It's got a bunch of battle sisters, and then it's got a bunch of smaller aggressive units. And I don't think it's got what, 3 rhinos with the Repentia and Dominions, but apart from that, it's all just MSU small units, like 5-man units of Sacrosands. A one unit of Repentia, no Zephyrim to speak of, no Seraphim that I can see. Sorry, 2 units. Apologies, 1 5-man Seraphim, 1 5-ram Zephyrim. So just small stuff here, there, and everywhere, and a lot of OBSEC, a lot more than we're used to seeing from Sisters in this codex. And then we've got Brad Chester, who has for this one has taken a very well-rounded Drukhari list. He just won a major with this last week in Frogtown. He's the king of Frogtown as it is. When he has Mark Perry taking Orcs, and once again it's a very good, well-rounded MSU Orc list. And then he has another very defensive shield list in Mr. Mitch Pelham's list, which you can see on the screen right now. And so yeah, it's actually quite interesting lineup. You got to tell us what Lennon's brought.
Well, we've got. I don't have the factions here, but we went over it like 2 seconds ago. But Mr. Lennon is, of course, playing his Sisters of Battle. He's won various majors with it and lots of big GTs. Then we've got Mr. Timpe, who is playing. What's he playing?
Mr. Timpe is playing Necrons, and this is actually quite an interesting.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
That is the list that we saw basically do pretty decently, or it's a variation of the list that we saw do well at the Lone Star. However, it includes some Ophidian destroyers in there, which are a unit that aren't really used very often, but have lots of attacks, lots of technical play with like redeployments and things like that. So pretty interesting choice there as well. There are Colin Sherman. He is running his oh my goodness, Ultramarines. That's right. He's running
Yeah.
Ultramarines. He's doing like a Dreadnought style list. It's designed to just shoot the pants off of anybody who
Yeah.
plays.
Spot on.
That's kind of how that list works. There's not a lot of subtlety in rolling tons of dice, Adam.
No, there's not at all.
Anthony is, of course, playing the Drukhari list that we're seeing on screen right now. And, of course, Mr. Kilton playing Orcs, which, of course, he is one of the best Orc players in the world.
Well, he is the best orc player in the world as it sits right here, right now.
I will eat my words. He is the best Orc player in the world right now, which is funny because he will be on. We'll be doing a full Orc review after Charity Hammer when they get back home with Mr. Kilton as
You
well,
will.
which will be super exciting.
I
Yeah.
just did one on my show with him. What a popular man.
Well, as soon as Orcs show up, they're like a fungus. They show
knocking.
up everywhere.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You can't get rid of them. In this game, it looks like the only thing I can see that's been removed from Mitch is that attack bike that was on the bottom right hand objective on his side of the table has been removed. It was just a matter of how many Dark Lancers did he need to get the job done.
Even put anything on there, to be honest. I would have just hit those attack bikes.
Yeah.
And why sacrifice an attack bike? There's no point. And for some reason, one of the. Oh, there he is. Okay, so I was like, "Where's the Talon Master?" Oh, he's half the way across the table now.
Yep, he's doing that thing I thought he was going to be doing. Going back, where that Talon Master positioned right now, Assault Cannon can go into those Cabalites on the left-hand side, like you said
Yep,
before,
you
mate.
should be able to kill all those Cowlites. Just take those and pull him down to a 10-pointer, which I think is the minimum he needs to do. Yeah.
Yes. And I think he's doing a very good option here. Now, what also is cool is that this is why I wasn't sure about the Raiders being where they the Raiders being where they were. The unit Terminators probably gets enough range now to put all those Stormbolters into a Raiders. Between all the Stormbolters and the Cyclones, he can pop 2 Raiders. That Talonmaster can charge into, say, a unit of 5 Incubi and possibly kill all 5 before it bounces out. It does have neg-4 on its sword, and it's going to have.
That's if the Incubi don't make it fat last.
Yeah, that's true. And
That's
then
always
that
the
is
risk
a
when
problem.
going into Incubi. You run in and you go, I hope they don't roll high enough, Adam, because
Now
then you're just stuck there and they murder you.
This is a problem. See where he's putting his Talonmaster? He's put it up onto the top right-hand objective. I'm hoping he's going to be pulling out some Terminators to go in front of that unit, either one of those command squads or some bikes. Otherwise, that guy is just going to explode next turn. He will just get charged and just deaded.
Seems like
Unless
he's decided to. I have a feeling he's going to pull
Yeah,
him back. Like I
does.
certainly hope he doesn't. Like Talon Masters, especially the Arbiter's Gaze Talon Master in this matchup is probably the, if not one of the most important units you have as a Dark Angel player. You do not
Absolutely.
want to throw that model away willy nilly at him, right? That's me as a well versed hunter of the Monkai.
You
I'm
need
looking for I'm looking for ways to kill that guy. You know
exactly
what?
right.
You know what works really well, Adam?
Anything.
A Void
Anything.
Raven Bomber. Just saying.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does because the last time I played, the Void Raven Bombers killed the command squad, which was awesome, and I was able to shoot the hell out of the Talon Master. Just saying.
Rough. Now this is something I do like as well. So the contents of those raiders are very squishy for bikes. Very squishy.
Are they filled? Are they filled with Dark Eldar?
I'm not. Well, they assume they are. He's got so many
Okay,
units in his
then
army.
I would agree with that statement. I feel
Well,
like anything you fill that raider with is going to be squishy against bolters.
that's fair. That's very fair. We're getting some updates from some of the other tables. We'll touch on those very quickly. We had an update from table 3, which is the Alex McDougall versus Colin Sherman game. Alex is taking for his secondary. He's taking Engage All Fronts. Rod, which is Octarius Data, retrieve Octarius Data, and bring it down. And Colin, naturally having that Dread-centric Ultramarines army, is going to be very good to go for bring it down. So his betting is going to have to be able to kill something. Colin has taken Banners, which I think is quite good for him. He's taken Engage in all fronts, and he's taken Oath of Moment. With that aggressive redeploy by the Ultramarines, you can really zone off and make sure you can defend your banners. So I think that's a good choice for him as well. Engage, I'm not sure about Engage, seeing as I assume the stuff he infiltrates up those Invictors don't make it out of turn 1 or turn 2. But Oath of Moment is actually an interesting one as well. But that saying, Alex does have a couple of monsters and a lot of characters for him to pick
I'll
up.
tell you right now, Colin picking banners against Tyranids is
a mistake. Yeah.
Huge mistake. Those Tyranids are going to be all over those banners, and then he's not going to be able to score them.
Well, he's got a Swarm Lord. Alex has a Swarm Lord. He has 2 units of 5 Gene Stealers, 2 Barbed Hero Duels. Then he has another He has a Flyrant, a Neurothrope, 10 Home against 6 Hive Guard.
I have a feeling like Alex, in terms of like Alex Tyranids versus Colin, I feel like Alex
that might be a flip.
is gonna go up on the secondaries, to be honest.
So we talk about this. We talk about a team's event, like especially something like a WTC or a ATC. It lives and dies on the flips, on your ability for you have the confidence in your team that your guy has a green and the other guy thinks he has a green, and only one of you is going to be right. And on the paper right now, you would say Colin has the green. It's Ultramarines. It's dread heavy Ultramarines versus freaking Tyranids. You'd be like, Ultramarines are going to smash it, especially if they go first.
I would say this is more of a lighter table because the open is like open. Right, like all the objectives out in the open, but I would assume that they have a heavy table and a couple of medium tables. Right, it'd be really cool to.
This is a medium, yeah, I think.
This a medium? Well, you can't hide anything on objectives. I'm assuming it's
That's true.
definitely not like a normal table.
But it has the appropriate amount of pieces on it for me to believe it's a medium. But it is what, yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe they
Yeah,
didn't
okay.
even do that on this stream. But Colin went first in that game, and apparently he's just left it with kill count to follow.
Have to
So
follow.
love it. In our game with Rich versus Nick, Rich is going first. That means the Orcs, Rich Kilton going first. He's taken Stranglehold, Raise the Banners, and Grind Them Down. Now, Grind Them Down is the one. That's a real confidence pick there. That's MSU
Not
Orcs
against
versus
Nick. MSU. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But
it's
he is
MSU
going
Orcs versus
first, so it's
MSU
gonna be.
Sisters. Yeah.
I feel like you're right. Sisters, even MSU sisters, are not easy to kill because you've got like your little miracle dice, and you've got moment of grace and things like that as well, which can keep little 5-strong units
Yep.
of sisters alive a lot longer
Exactly
than
right.
they're supposed to.
Exactly. And we know Rich has gone first, so Nick will know exactly how many he needs to kill to deny that. Nick has taken Assassinate, Stranglehold, and Raise the Banners. Now, Assassinate's an interesting one because I think a lot of Orc players are playing with these super characters, and he's going to need Rich has to use those super characters to win the game. So Nick's betting or giving him a deterrent to wanting to do what he's paid a lot of points in his list to do. I think that's a great pick.
Yep, I believe so as well. I think it's going to be an interesting. We did get a confirmation from the pit crew, that the terrain is consistent across all the tables. So, so we don't really have any sort of like table pick advantage. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
Other than like if you wanted to play on a specific style of terrain. Middle of the first update from the Colin game. Colin has killed the Exocrine, 5 Acolytes, and a smattering of Steelers, brought the Steeler duel down to 3. Alex is ...
Not feeling
the
good.
greatest.
Well, that's always the risk. Yeah, the risk is you just get nuked by that army. He apparently Alex does not see a pathway towards scoring primary, and that's
Okay, so
fair.
maybe I guess then, if the tables are consistent and there's no way to really hide holding objectives against that Ultramarines list, there's not much you can do except sit there and get shot
Yeah,
without being
exactly
able
right.
to score points.
Spot on. And as you said, right. So let's just run down those the matchups that we got, and give people our thoughts on the pairings. So where have we got those? We have Mr. Michael Timpe versus Chester. So that's a MSU Destroyer Heavy Necrons versus a multiple major winning tuned to all hell Drukhari list. And so I think we're both thinking that Chester probably has the nuts on
The
that game, yeah?
Archon in me wants Chester to reach his impending doom, so I may take over his Cabal Spire.
All right, so you're going to go for Timpe in that one? I'll go for Chester?
I think Chester's got it, but
Yeah.
philosophically speaking, as an Archon, I wish for his demise.
Beautiful. Then we have John Lennon playing his, LSO winning, I think undefeated as of right now. He has not lost with that list, but he's playing his sisters that he took to LSO and won with against.
I don't know. He doesn't have a fortification there.
Doesn't have a
I don't know if he's
fortification to
going to be
fall
able to
back
do
on.
it.
Yep, I just can't carry him anymore. He doesn't have that crutch. He's playing against Mr. Mark Perry, who's playing, I guess, his first handful of games with the new Orc Codex, but his list is very good. His list is very good. But in that
Is he
one,
running orcs? I think Lennon's got it. I really do. But that's also because Perry plays with the Art of War crew on a very consistent basis, and he's a very aggressive player. And I feel like John Lennon is just going to have his number.
I agree. I think that's Lennon's game, and I give that one to Lennon in the matchup. So
One
that
and
is
one.
that's
What's
one
next?
and one so far. That's 1-1. Then we've got Colin versus Alex. We already have some information there saying that Colin went first and laid the smackdown, which is exactly what that army is built to do. It's built to be like, even if you go first, you have to deploy so defensively that you don't do anything. And if I go first, I just get to absolutely punch you in the teeth.
I agree.
Do you think Alex is going to pull it out now?
If Alex is letting it get to his head, I believe that Alex might have a bit of an issue. If
Okay.
Alex keeps a level head, I feel like he might not win, but I don't think he'll lose as big as people think.
Yeah,
Like he might
exactly
be able
right.
to keep it close.
Well, that's the thing about that Ultramarine list. It doesn't have a lot of OBSEC. Doesn't have a lot of ability to win primary. It it bets on smacking away all your board control very early, and then actually just holding stuff down with dreads and small things like suppressors, which can shoot from deep in his deployment zone. So yeah, look, it could come back his way. He still has a bunch of. The other thing I didn't tell you about his list, he has like 3 flamer bombs in reserve of acolytes that can come up 3 inches away, and he hasn't got a lot of ability to zone off objectives unless he's willing to put dread bodies on it. So he can come up 3 inches away, just start stealing primary points off Colin, especially going second. He can get a huge swing if he's conservative with his units now, get a huge swing and a 15 on the back. So we'll see. And then we of course have this Anthony versus Mitch game. I think we're both thinking this is a game that it's Anthony's to lose on the matchup. And now that we've seen Mitch start to play very conservatively, I assume Mitch is probably going to go down by about 20, 25 points from here. And that's if everything goes well from here.
100%. Now, going back to this game specifically that we're watching right now, it seems like Mitch did not go for the kill on the Cavalite Warriors or the little
No.
units on the back objective, which I feel is a missed opportunity.
I think so too. I think that was a good way to dump his CP, because that's literally why that guy's there. The guy that one tool is there, the souped up choppy Talon Master is there to be your CP dump, as in he's the guy who you use all your CP to activate. Because this army doesn't use a lot of CP, guys. Usually, like the most CP I was using in games when I was playing this, and I played this kind of list ad nauseum. I took it to about like 4 or 5 events in a row, and most CP I was using was to reroll a damn save every turn, or every phase.
100%. Now, quick donation update. The goal for Charity Hammer for the weekend is $20,000 raised. Currently, over 18,000, Adam.
Wow, that is
Dollars
phenomenal.
raised, and we're just on Thursday night. I really hope that we can smash that goal, everybody. So make sure that you get your wallets and participate and donate. If you can't donate to the great cause of the Charity Hammer, make sure you share the streams with your friends, your family, your social media. Take selfies as you're watching the games, and create some hype.
I just chucked up the link in the chat on the BiffPod stream. Go over to there, hit that link, go donate if you can. If not, tell your friends about this stream. Get as many eyeballs as you can. This is all to a great cause and all to promote the wonderful community 40K and the giving nature that we have, the ability we have to do so much for so many. Now,
exactly.
Back into this game, yeah, he didn't go for that play. Looks like he's come all the way back. Looks like we're actually into the into the turn
The
two.
assault phase already, it seems, as the Chronos, maybe the assault phase? Like,
No,
those
I don't think it
Chronos
is.
are
They're
very
just
close to those spikes.
well, are they assault weapons on the Kronos? The
Yeah, the
flamers?
flamers are definitely assault.
Yeah, that's
yes.
what he's doing. He's just advancing charge. He's going to advance in charge. He's going to clear up a lot of that stuff. I really want to know where these raiders are. Look like there's a raider on 4 wounds there. Oh, it looks like it could be a 6. But yeah, the fact he didn't kill any raiders between all the Terminators and the Talon Masters, he actually hasn't killed a model yet. He must have rolled something pretty heinous. That unit that was on the top left-hand objective has been removed. That's quite obvious to see. There are no more small models there. But yeah, I don't know where the rest of his fire went, because none of the Kronos got picked up. None of the raiders got picked up. I'm quite confused. I'm perplexed.
I'm perplexed as well, Adam. I feel like the Drukhari are doing Drukhari shenanigans and just showing why it is one of the best books in the game.
It is very easily one of the best books in the game, man. I mean, like, even when they took all those nerfs, I was just like, there's so much good stuff in this book. Like, I'm only now just starting to really see the poison tongue stuff take off, and that's.
I've been preaching this for
I
months.
know.
Just saying.
You have,
good.
man.
It takes a wonderful genius to see genius. Just saying.
A splinter genius, so to speak.
Ooh, I see what you did there, Adam.
Yeah, you did. It was saucy. I liked it.
But this is great. I'm really liking watching these games. It's definitely like it seems like Anthony's definitely sort of like putting pressure. He's attacking at all angles, which I think is kind of what you have to do against an army like this. He's not really going for the big block of Terminators in the middle. He's going to let that Terminator block be a big Terminator block for no reason.
Exactly. He's only got one big brick. It can only be in one place one time. Swarm him everywhere else. Make him divide.
It's also slow. It's slow. It can't really go anywhere. He's gonna get his banners up. He's gonna get his herd the prey up as well. Like there's nothing that Mitch can really do about the Drukhari scoring their points right now. And Anthony's just going in to just stop him from scoring primary. If he can pull him down to 5 primary for a couple turns, then potentially tackle the Stubborn Defiance.
Oof.
That's kind of like how that works. It seems like Drazar might be going in
to
go and murder some
That's
some
exactly what you do.
Terminators
That's
with his
exactly
double
what you
fight
do.
and stuff. So I feel like with his -1 damage against a bunch of power fists, I don't think he's gonna be very scared about that.
No.
Jumping in and just killing a bunch of Dark Angels.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Drazar cares. But those like has he got damage 3 on Drazar? Or is he damage 2? You didn't choose, yeah.
Damage 3 for Drazar, yeah, he can
Yeah,
do
he's got
damage
what?
3.
Is it 6 or 7 attacks? It'd be hitting on 2s,
Something
rerolling, wounding on
with a
4s,
double
rerolling.
fight, absolutely.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, in all reality, it's going to be it's the transhuman that's going to annoy him the most. So he's going to go in. He's going to get 6 or 7 hits. He's going to get 4 or 5 wounds on the 4s with the reroll, and
Yeah.
that times 2. So he's looking at about 10 wounds. Mitch has well, everybody in that unit has a 4+ invulnerable save from Azrael, and then it really just comes down to how many feel no pains he makes. So Jazar's likely to go in and kill, I think probably 4's likely,
Seems
which
like
is
a big
a
unit of
big
9
chunk.
incubi is out there as well. Like I feel
Yeah,
like everybody's coming out to play right now.
if
Which
if the 9-man
oof.
incubi unit makes it as well, this is GG. This is 20 points in the bag for Anthony, and it's kind of cooked. Now here's a funny question: 100%, 125%, I Overwatch whatever he charges me with.
100%. He should be throwing up I
Oh crap!
feel that Succubus is up there just
No,
to
no,
prevent the Overwatch.
that's an Archon.
Is it an Archon?
It looks
Well,
like an
I
Archon
feel
model
like
to me.
I can't see it from here, but if not, I would be trying to either put a Raider up there to make sure to soak up the Overwatch, or I'd be
Yeah,
putting a Witch unit or a Succubus up there to
just
stop the Overwatch as well.
I have to know why nothing's dead for the Dark Eldar. Because
You know why, Adam?
this looks like turn 1. This looks like turn 1 for the Dark Eldar, and literally nothing happens. uh,
Well, it's a glorious day for the Dark City. Just we're gonna roll with that, Adam.
yeah. Apparently, Nick is going around, possibly as a team captain, asking people to take higher risk plays because he thinks they're in trouble. Apparently, Nick Nutterbody's walking around doing that right now. Ants on the incubi because they are a fair way away. I think they're probably at least a 7-inch charge from what I can see. 6 or a 7 for sure. So I mean, if if the incubi don't make it in, these Terminators probably survive this in some capacity. There will be at least a couple left, and then you can clear up these characters pretty easily. He's got stuff like Ezekiel. He's got Talamasters. Even the bikes are actually quite good, especially at popping that 2+ invul, and you just dump enough shots from the bikes to get rid of the 2+ invul on the guy. He's got another character. He's putting another. Is that another unit coming out?
I have no idea.
Another 2 dudes.
Adam. It
That's
seems
is that
like
the
he's
Blood
just.
Brides?
It might
Yeah,
be the Blood Brides.
he's going the Blood Brides in as well. Mitchy, my boy, my baby. This is just what happens when you play this matchup. This is why I always lost, because my big unit of Terminators. It's like, so usually what would happen is turn 1, turn 2, I'd cop either the Drazar or the Succubus, which admittedly it was the infinite attack Succubus, and I'd lose probably like a half to 2/3 of my unit there, and then the next turn I cop Incubi and Drazar, and the game's over. And so yeah, usually the turn 3 loss for me every time I played this one. So yeah, interesting, and this one might be over sooner rather than later. But my man, how do you think the pairings went? Do you have the breakdown of the pairings for people? Because I got a little bit of a watch in of the last stream showing who got put up, who got paired into what.
Hello, chat. Thank you for asking. So the pairings, we went through the pairings. So we've got Timpe versus Chester, Elena versus Perry, Colin versus Alex, Anthony versus Mitch, which is the game we're seeing on screen right now. Kilton versus Nick. Now, on paper, Nick's team we feel was a lot more stacked, but it seems like Lennon, Timpe, Colin, Anthony, and Kilton got the better pairings, and we feel like they just must have thought or sort of like had a better like strategy when putting the pairings together, and I feel like we're seeing that pan out, especially with like this game here. And if Nick's going around telling people to get points, that's like an act of desperation, Adam.
Yeah, it sounds like
So
it to me. Well, I just want to know how this one happened. Because I got to believe this is one of the last pairings. There's no way in my mind that Nick Nanavati would have put Mitch into this matchup, knowing how the rest of knowing what the matchup was likely to be. These are all clever men. These are all top. These are all literally the best players in North America and some of the best players in Canada come together for this. So there's going to be no surprises on who everyone thinks is going to win. Um, so Mr. Lemon has just tuned in. I know John's team thought the Colin versus Alex matchup was a green. John had a yellow against everything else, basically. Yeah, look, I think Colin versus Alex, especially with Colin going first, that's a pretty bright green for me. Whether Alex has enough nuance to claw back a bit of the primary points and make that closer, I think he absolutely has that ability. You've played him before, haven't you? Played Alex before, haven't you, mate?
I have, yeah, and I did win that game, which means that I'm gonna take that. I'll take that win. And I know John has won lots and lots of majors recently. So just remember, I beat him, and I've had
Yep.
people beat me. So they're better than me, and they might be better than him.
Yeah, fair. Just an
All
update. You
oh,
go.
sorry. As a quick update, I do want to say John Lennon did change his fortification for Rhino,
It
which
did.
which he had been talking about at the end of Lone Star Open, adding a Rhino for the Bloody Rose detachment to
Hmm.
make sure he could hide some of those Repentia
Exactly
against some
right.
out of line of sight shooting, which
Well,
I think really helps
it's a
in a lot of
concession.
different metrics.
It's a concession to the Orcs, I believe. Like with the Orcs all taking rucker trucks and things of that nature, like it's really important that those Repenter just auto pop, which is exactly what I'd shoot at turn one if I was the Orc player.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. You have to take them down as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Uh, da-da-da-da. Apparently, Tabletop Idiots has just said Anthony has to win in order to maintain his Drukhari Menace title. Well, he's on good track. Let's just say he's on sneaky good track to do it. Just an update from our table boss here, which is the wonderful Tyler at G. He's just informed us that Mitch has killed the Hellions and the Scourge, and that's what he decided to target. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why when you'd have four raiders that are going to be in your
You
face
have
next
to
turn.
demech the Dark Eldar.
Yeah,
This is just like a pro
maybe
tip. Demech the Dark Eldar, Adam.
Well, what? Maybe
Kill
he
the
didn't think he could.
Raiders.
Maybe he didn't think he could. Maybe he didn't think he had enough firepower. Well, I know he didn't have enough firepower to go through the Chronos. You just don't. But like he probably could have killed two Raiders. I don't know if he could have killed three, but definitely two. That play with the Talon Master, not going for that play may have been a mistake. May have been quite a big mistake. We'll see. We'll see what the wrap up is. I can't think that Mitch is feeling confident about this. It looks like we've got charges coming in right now and going straight through a gap in his Terminators. Looks like getting into the juicier characters. There's a couple there that I make a big deal to get rid of. Getting rid of Azrael, who is admittedly quite hard to kill in the scheme of things, is a big deal because it takes away the 4+ invulnerable save from most of his Terminator. He only has 3 or 4 Thunderhammer Storm Shields in here, and admittedly, I believe he's lost a couple of those already to things like Dark Lancers. So yeah, we go. Jane Cobb has asked for an update. You able to give that, Scary? What are we looking at?
We looking at? We're looking at two absolute beautiful people playing an absolute beautiful game in support of charity. Charity Hammer is a huge, like 72-hour long mega stream with people from all over, with some of the top players and most awesome people in all of the Warhammer 40,000 community coming together to raise money to help kids and get toys in hospitals to help child's play. So we are currently commenting on it. Right now, we've got the Dark Eldar faction playing against the Purple Dark Angels, which is, very Slaneshi of them, Adam.
It is. But yeah, this is an interesting matchup. We have Mitch Pelham, who I think was subbing in for Seth Oster. I believe Seth Oster or there was another gentleman who was going to be on Nick's team, but unfortunately his flight got delayed and Mitch stepped in as the replacement, taking a very nice Shield Dark Angels list, which I think would have been incredible into just about any other matchup. Like I would have loved to have seen his army play against Orcs. I think it's actually phenomenally good list into that one. Or Sisters even. It's actually very good there. But yeah, Dark Eldar are just kind of the antithesis, or the anathema for Dark Angels, in my opinion. Unless you go full like MSU, dude. I played a 4 flyer Dark Angels list into Dark Eldar, and I did really good. I got a 13-7 loss, and that was the old Liquefier OP pre nerf Dark Eldar. I was quite proud of that.
Yeah, pre-nerf Dark Eldar. It's exciting. It seems like right now we've got Incubi charging into the big block. We've got Drazar charging into the big
Yeah,
block. We've got the Succubus charging into the big block. We've got the Blood Brides charging into the big block. We have an Archon charging into the big block. It seems right now that we have quite a few Things going on.
Well, so in all reality,
Kill 10 Terminators.
yeah, they're dead. They're all dead. And with that, I think Mitch will still have a game. He's still got a lot of buzz boxy little units. And what I like now is that he, well, hopefully he still has 2 more units of bikes left unmolested. Those bikes and 2 Talamasters can just yeet away into the distance, get out of here, pick up everything that's on the home objective, and still play a bit of a game. And he'll be able to play the mission quite well still, but his secondaries are kind of kaput at this point.
Considering you took like defensive secondaries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about playing against Dark Eldar is you minimize losses, and that's why I asked you how many units does he have? Because it's in 25% increments,
Mm,
right? 25%,
yeah.
25%,
Yeah.
25%.
Also, yeah, if without taking minimized losses, I think the play for me, in my opinion, you want to keep the Dark Eldar on their side of the table on turn 2. So you want to put enough stuff past the halfway point of the game in order to keep him from just auto charging onto your backfield. That means you have to risk and give up all the bikes turn 1. In this matchup, that's what you have to do. If you go first, turn 1, you do what Mitch did, do a little bit, and then turn 2, you put 5 bike units out onto his home objectives. He has to actually get stuff out of his boats on his side of the board. He can't push those Kronos right up into your grill because you've got them walled off. And what's happening right now, where he's getting swamped in his backfield, becomes a lot harder to do and a lot more risky. So, what do you think about that? Because that's what I would have tried to do. But mind you, he just took the stuff that's going to get him points at the end of the game. Like, he's still probably going to get 5 points from minimized losses unless he gets wiped. He's already gotten, I think, is it 2 points or 3 points in the bank from Stubborn Defiance? He's unlikely to get any more. Maybe he can get 2 more if he clears that unit back off and has one Terminator survive somehow, like rolls like a beast. But as it is right now, what else did he take? What was his third one? I just can't quite remember. It was...
For the Drukhari?
No, it was Grind Them Down.
Yes, correct.
Well, one good thing about what's happening now, this is the most amount of models you're probably likely to use and lose in this game. So, and all this stuff's on the table. So picking up and getting a couple of kills for Grind Them Down, maybe it's a thing as well.
Yeah, well, grind them down, I think, is always going to be not a risky against Drukhari, but I feel it's a trap against Drukhari, especially when you're running like Kronos. Like you'll kill a bunch of stuff in the first couple of turns, but then as the game goes on, like it can be tough to score. And I've seen it, or people kill way too much stuff in a single turn and then don't have enough stuff to kill later in the game. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like he could have probably gone with something else, like assassinate or something, considering that all the characters are gonna have to like rush at him to really do
Yeah,
damage, and then he
yeah.
can kind of maximize on it, sort of thing.
So just Mr. Lemon by Lemon has asked, do you know who was the actual attacker defender? So I know for a fact that both players put up. So I think it was Rich Kilton got put up for Mr. John Lennon's team, and then John Lennon's team put up. Who was it? I remember if I just see the names. Pardon me. I will note in a
I
second.
do not know. I did not follow the pairings, so I can't really help with who was attacker, who was defender.
Well,
However,
it was Alex McDougall got put up by Nick, and Kilton got put up by John. So Alex McDougall by Nick, and John put up Rich Kilton.
why did they put Alex as a shield?
Bus is my assumption. Alex was
Really,
there
just to
possibly.
soak up. Like, but then what did they attack him with?
They put Colin in. They put Colin, and I don't know who the other player was.
Who's the other player?
How bad does the other guy have to be for you to pick
No,
Colin out
Well,
of the
it's
2?
either that or Colin was red for everyone else. In which case,
Exactly.
they were
And
just like, let's just try and soak him in to like get rid of
yeah.
that damn ultramarine list, which
We
is kind of how you look at it, right?
we call that taking it out of the pool. Take a problem
Correct.
player out of the pool to make the others feel better. Now the issue is with Colin's list, yeah, and this is something that Australians prescribe to quite a lot in our team lineup. We like to take one list that can beat anybody on. Okay, never mind.
Okay. No problem.
For us?
Yeah, so just do that real quick.
Yep. Hold on. Reroll for win.
Oh,
that was the 2CP.
3.
So 3 AP3. So he bends it. Yep.
Okay, folks, it's your boy the Falcon. I'm back. We're what, an hour into this game?
Something
How's it
like that.
looking, guys? What's happening here?
We're really slamming these Drukhari straight into these dark
They all
angels.
have 4-up invones because of Azzy.
In
That's-
melee?
Oh no, you're right. That's shooting.
Okay.
Sorry.
So anyway, folks, I've got 2 prizes to give away.
Here come
We're
the
at
prizes.
$18,500 already donated. There's some extra money in a PayPal account somewhere, probably overseas. I'm sure once that comes in, we'll be breaking 19. Please keep donating. We're almost at our the goal we had set for the end of this event, and we're not even a day in. So the 2 prizes. First off, we've got the Catechin Kernel, the special limited edition Catechin Kernel. It's going to Daniel Smith. Congratulations, Daniel, if you're listening or watching. You're the best. And our second prize we're giving, Ripper Jackson, the other special Catechin character that was released in the last couple of years, is going to Dale Payne.
Woo!
Congratulations, guys. I'll be back in a couple hours to play a game against Danny McDevitt that I have no interest in playing. Catch you then.
Woohoo! All right, back to the
Thank
murder.
you, Falcon.
These are the knives,
Yep.
and then there'll be an impaler at the end of this.
Cool.
But this is 2 rolling ones.
I trust you.
Countdown, we're back on. We are back. Congratulations to the
Congratulations!
If
Make
you
sure
want a
you
thing,
donate.
donate so you can win stuff. Make sure you donate.
For every
Please do.
$30 donated, you get a ticket in the raffle. So make
And-
sure you donate.
And it stays in the raffle for the entirety of the event. And like the
Oh
stuff
my
will be given.
goodness, amazing.
Stuff will be getting stuff will be getting handed out left, right, and center throughout this entire thing. Yeah. So what you were just saying, we used to always take one big bad and we just put it up. That used to be our triple shadow sword list. Then what we took to WTC, took triple shadow swords because we put him up first. Takes the light table. Even if you put a counter list into him, he goes first. He can still just beat you, you know. And so
Yep.
you can be the most confident.
Just so much pew pew guns.
Exactly. You can put in the greenest of all greens, and a lot of the time that was the And so, what we were doing, we were trying to get the Admech flyers, so the Eldari flyers out of the pool, because it was like the triple Crimson Hunter Exarch, the triple Crimson Hunter one, and the Hemlocks. And so he was taking that out of the pool for us. He played that like 4 times out of 6 games. He just took them for us, and it was champion effort. That was our captain, the Mr. Redbeard himself. And always good to see a captain just willing to take the bus, you know.
Oh, yeah, always. Captains have to step up. You know what I mean?
For
And
sure.
kinda, like do it for the team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about like the pairings. We talk about attacker defender. They led with Alex, okay, and then Alex ended up taking Colin, presumably to take that Ultramarine list out of the pool to sort of like not be
Yes.
terrorizing the matchups.
Yes.
Okay. So what about the other team? What did Lennon's team? Who did Lennon? Lennon's team put up,
They put up Rich Kilton,
which is an orc player.
orc
Okay.
player. Yep.
So orcs, I believe, are definitely a good shield. Like in terms of shield and sword, we're talking about an army that you can defend with, and by defender, it's an army you put down that you're like, bring it, send me something, and I can deal with it, right? And I think that's a great way of kind of doing it that way.
Well,
and orcs, I feel, are in that good position where you can kind of do both with an orc list.
yeah, well, he actually has a bit of a defensive orc list. Just running down what Kilton's got, he actually has quite a lot of Beast Snagger boys and boys. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 50 boys in 10 mans. Some of those being Beast Snaggers, some being boys. Then he has a bunch of commandos, the regular swathe of rucker trucks, and then just a bunch of MSU units around that, like 5 Squighog boys, 4 Warbikers, the big old war boss, a KFF to keep everybody safe. A couple of Storm Boys units. So he's just got a core of essentially 5+ invuln stuff, and then a huge amount of MSU around it. So it's just a very good thing at getting points.
Yeah, definitely. So, and that's what you want in a defender or shield list, is something that can get points pretty much regardless of what you play against. So you can soak up a bad matchup, or just like turn a loss into a win. A lot of the times is kind of how that works. And then you've got your attacker list or sword list that's designed like this Dark Eldar Drukhari list to go in and smash your opponent and just get as many points as possible. And that's kind of how that works.
Yep. Exactly
Okay,
right.
so what did they put down for the second one? So, because Kilton ended up soaking up Nick, right? With his,
Yes.
of course, I believe that's definitely more of a let's get Nick out of the pool because Nick
Yeah.
is one of the strongest players that they have.
And Nick's one of their shields, so they had to put one of their shields up into Rich, and so I don't know what they put
Yeah,
up
exactly.
in addition, but I know Rich. Having spoken to Rich, if he wants to come and take some scalps here, he's like headhunting this. So he would have just said, just give me Nick, I'll put him down, and I'll show you guys what I'm made of. Give us this big old war bossy grin. So yeah, I would be surprised if he wanted that matchup and took it. And look, Nick's army isn't a conventional sisters army. Like I said, he's got
I
6
wonder why
units.
they put Nick down then. Like, what else did they have left in the pool to put down against
So
Oaks?
they would have had Nick, Chester, Perry, and Mitch. So they would have had. I kind of would have put the Dark Angels into him personally.
Well, the Dark Angels would have
Oh,
been
maybe they
better
did.
against.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
Maybe that's
they
what they
did,
did.
and they picked him.
And
They're
they
like,
picked
well,
Nick.
either take one of these two. But at the same time, like, why you kind of want to also put maybe one of the attackers in there that can do some damage. I feel like the Dark Angels should have gone down as a shield instead of Alex, and then they could have put Alex into the Orcs.
I feel like that's what happens next. I feel like Mitch has gone down as the next defender for Nick's team, and then probably Anthony, and then if I had to guess, it's probably Anthony or John, or Anthony or Timpe. No, if it was Timpe, they would have taken Timpe. So it would have been Anthony and John, and then he's decided he wants to take they want to take Anthony out of the pool.
Yeah, well, that
As
definitely
you can,
makes sense.
just a quick call of the game. As you can see on the right hand side of the board, for Mitch, there is what looks to be. I think there still looks to be one Terminator left. I think I can see one single Terminator. Big old chunky purple boy. I don't think there is. There's no Terminator sized guys who are apart from. There's no Terminator. Sorry, there are no Terminator characters, so I can see one Terminator left in combat. Now, interesting, he has got Studio Terminators, so he doesn't have the option to have like a what I usually take on him. I usually take Assault Terminators, so I can beam them out with the teleport homer, and therefore save my while we stand with flies and things like that. At the top, the unit of Kronos have gone into those bikes. Looks like they've only killed one and left the second one left on one wound, and that just shows you how much of a floppy
Kill
floppy.
stuff in close combat.
They are a floppy
Kronos,
unit in
yeah.
combat. They are limp and inefficient, but they are fearsome for their points on the darker side of things. So, but that's good. That unit can fall back and shoot with some CP, and it looks like he's got probably enough CP to burn at this point because he's got nowhere else to put him. So, leaping those back, trying to deny herd the prey, things of that nature. And they're probably with their fallback, they can probably maybe 14 inches gets them onto that objective, but maybe they have to go through the terrain and take some -2. So I'm not too sure whether they're ruling that as a ruin or as a forest. But I'm just gonna have a quick check from our stream bosses. Without a
Absolutely. Another thing that's interesting is, of course, that both Talmasters are still alive, and they're probably one of the most killy units. Now, of course, if that Terminator decides to live, but that's maybe the Blood Brides fight again and then kill that Terminator, but they probably don't want to kill him so
No,
that
they
he
don't.
stays
They
there,
don't.
and then they can hold him up in combat with Morvane's Agonizer and all this stuff. So that's like perfect scenario to just not get shot by a bunch of Talon Master.
That's exactly what's happened. So one Terminator survived and he's been wrapped and stuck in combat, prevented from falling back. Because actually he's got the Blood Brides in there with the Shardnet and Impaler, and of course they got Morvane's Agner as well.
Morvane's just gets a hit. That Terminator's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Cannot go anywhere.
So literally, Mitch needs to evacuate.
There's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do.
Evacuate. No, he just needs to run, move, advance, get out of there. Like everything that he's got left, pretty much apart from Azrael.
Oh yeah. Get away from that blob of death.
Needs to freaking scoot. Get on your bike, pump as hard as you can. Like make the Tour de France look like a wimp event. Get out of there. Yeah, and he has some good stuff for moving away. Like I said, he's got the move after, the run away after a charge, so you can use that to slingshot yourself. He has a I think it's a 1 CP or 2 CP, just literally just move again, which he can use to slingshot himself. So I would like to see him use that. Like the top Talon Master's probably pretty safe, but the one on the right hand side really just needs to like probably double move if it wants to live through next turn. And seeing as he can't do anything about these combats, just run to the hills, run for your life.
I agree, Iron Maiden. It's how that works.
I felt good about that one. So there's some interesting matchups here. I think one of the lists I want to look at. Mark Perry's list. I want to look at his orc list. I want to see what you think. Have you had much to do with the orc list? You know what the ins and outs of it?
I definitely haven't taken a look at the lists. This is where your expertise shines through.
Thank you. I'm obviously more bored than you are. But he's got a Death Skulls Outrider. He starts with a Truck Boy Mega Boss with Brutal But Cunning and the Kill Chopper, which is the relic 3 damage chopper, big chopper, I think, or it's the extra round one. 3 units of 5 Storm Boys, a single truck, and then he has a Blood Axe Outrider. This one has a Dino Beast Boss with Arter's Nails and Beast Hide, I think, which is the -1 to wound and the Feel No Pain. Boss Snick Rot, who I think is actually quite a sleeper. 10 Commandos with a Claw. 4 Mega Knobs with Truck Boys, so they'll go in the truck with the Mega Boss boy, and they'll both get
Must have
out
ruled
after.
that, they'll allow it.
Sorry,
They said they must have ruled that they would allow it,
the what?
letting the truck boys get into the truck.
They must have ruled it. They must have.
They must have. They said, okay, so you're going to replace your 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 clan rule with truck boys, and therefore can't get into a truck anymore.
That's right.
We'll allow it.
Yeah, I agree. 1, 2, 3 Squig Buggies, one with Nitro Squigs. 3 Defcopters, 3 Defcopters. I am secretly a huge fan of Defcopters.
Oh,
If you
they're
don't know
so
why,
good.
please look
Yeah.
into them. You deserve to know. And then the last one is a Death Skulls Patrol. This one is another Mega Armor War Boss, who's a truck boy as. Oh, sorry, no, he's not a truck boy. As kind of a brutal and the Crush Armor, which I think is the 4+ invulnerable, and gives him a 1+
Crush
armor
armor
save.
also does when you charge in, you do mortal wounds.
It's cute. Then he's got 10 Truck Boys with a Claw, 2 more units of 5 Commandos, and 2 units of 4 Warbikers. The 4 Warbikers, I think, are actually very good. I love his list. I think his list is exceptional.
His list has lots of MSU, lots of speed, lots of DACA, lots of close combat. It's a toolkit list. He has a little bit of everything. Has out of line of sight shooting, has mobility, has anti-tank, has anti-infantry, has good character support, counter charge, MSU, mobility with transports. So yeah, I think his list is very well rounded, and it's a good list.
Absolutely. Just typing in our chat to get some updates from the other tables. I'd love to see if McDougal's had his hand forced and is making some big plays to try and claw this one back. I'd love to also hear the if we can get the impressions from I'd love to get the impressions from the captains on how well they think they did in the pairings. Because it seems to me obviously they've got this one going for them, because this looks like a pretty solid 20 for Mr. Anthony Vanilla right now. But who knows, man? Mitch might have some sneaky tricks. He is a tricksy boy after all.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, as a Archon, I'm hoping that the Drukhari win this. Adam?
Well, I think it's almost. I don't think it's possible for the Dark Angels to win from here. It's just how much do they want to lose by, and that's a lot of what team play is about, guys. I will tell you right now, the amount of times in a team, if you play like 10 team events, yeah, let's say there's 5 games in each, so if you play 50 team games, the likelihood of you playing good matchups for you is like less than a third. You think it'd be a third? Oh yeah, I'll get a third green, a third red, and a third yellow. No, that's not how it works. Unless you're being particularly protected by a skilled, captain or someone or a pairings coach. Most of the time, you're playing yellows and reds, yellows and reds, yellows and reds, yellows and reds, and that's
Or oranges.
I don't even do oranges, man. They don't register. Oranges are yellow or red that you're just being.
Yeah, it's a red. It's
you-
a red, or it's an
you
orange
don't.
is like a cop out. It's
Yeah,
like either
exactly.
good or it's bad.
Yeah, just call it one. We all know it's one. You know it's one. Don't try and save face. Yeah.
I agree, Adam. I agree.
But yeah, most of the time you play reds and yellows. The vast majority of the time, like 3/4 of the time, even. Especially if that's your role. I mean, even if it's not your role, even if you are like the guy, the sword, meant to to go out and get the 20s, a lot of the time you still just play oranges and reds. So you be prepared, and it's how many points you get when the chips are down that makes a difference.
Exactly. So, question in chat actually, Adam, how would you try and maximize your points being stuck in this situation as a Dark Angel player?
So the best thing so there's 2 things here, yeah. You have to actually just make a value judgment. What can live from this position and what has to be given up. So the things that need to be given up need to do a pretty specific job for you. The worst thing that can happen for Mitch right now is he has lost the ability to kill that clump of characters in Incubi and Blood Brides. He can't kill them. They can't be shot. He can't interact with them. Charging into him, you're just risking getting fight last and get picked up for no reason. So what you want to do is make sure those guys can't get into Raiders next turn and reach out and tap you wherever you are on the table. So you still need to demech. So I would be spending my double moves, doing my charges, doing everything I could to kill either the top two or the bottom two Raiders, whichever one I want to swing my army up onto. And if you kill two Raiders now, you can kill the other two later, and then still the same kind of job is done. But killing two now mean that next turn that Raider can't go up, get the incubi inside them, and then maybe do a fire and fade to get back closer to you, and then they can charge you wherever you want. So what you want to do is get rid of a key one or two of them. Most likely just go for the ones that are on objectives because it makes more sense to do that way, and then scoot your stuff up into the top left-hand corner. The left-hand corner, to me, seems like the open side. Seems like the open side to me, and it seems like the side where Mitch has a lot of enough stuff where he can pivot that way if he wants to. Looks like we've got a unit of Deathwing Command coming out from the back of the table. Or is that his Blade Guard?
Seems like it's the Blade Guard.
I
I
told him to take 5 Blade Guard, and when I read his list, I didn't see them in there. Let me see if they're on his list. The cheeky sod.
Maybe they're a special Blade Guard that
They
don't
are
have
not
to be
on
put
his
on list.
list. Yeah, I told him to take. So I had a little bit to do with writing this list because he just asked me what I would take to this event, and it was something like this. So here come the 5 Blade Guard. Now you do have some options, yeah. But you don't want to put them into the Blood Brides, do you? You want to put the Blade Guard into the Incubi because that's where they get the value, right?
However, the Incubi are the furthest away
I know.
from the Blade Guard, and they'd have to like get all the way around to try and kill the Incubi.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that he has here that's good is it depends how many of the Deathwing Command he has. If he has 6 more Terminators, 4 of which have Lightning Claws, he can go in and start clearing that blob. He actually can. It's doable. Blood Brides defensively only have the 4 up as well. Yeah, they don't have anything special. Are they -1 to hit in combat?
You can make them -1 to hit as long as you keep a command point handy.
For lightning fast, yeah, essentially,
Correct.
or whatever it's called now.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't know he had the Blade Guard in this list. You cheeky bum. He doesn't have them on his list, guys. But yeah, they were definitely in the list when we were writing it. So it looks like they're going to go in. And look, if they get into the Incubi, they do kill all 9, yeah. Presumably, if Azrael's still alive, they're the only thing left to get the Azrael rerolls. So I'll go in, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, rerolling 1s with a Talon Master, and then you'll have your 6 up invuln, and they'll all die, right?
Might be the glorious charge of the brigade over there, and I think that could be okay. Maybe holding his corner. Is that going to be enough to turn around?
No,
I don't think it's enough. Because I think the Dark Eldar have hit them hard enough. He's got all his killy characters still in that corner. I don't think, it's really going to change. And he hasn't committed his whole army. He still has a bunch of stuff inside the Raiders.
Well, the issue here now, for Mitch is that you've got melee units. You can go in, you kill the Blood Brides, you kill the Incubi. What the hell do you do about Drazar, the Archon, the Succubus, all these ridiculously undercosted over good? Well, Drazar isn't overcosted anymore, but yeah, Mitch's list is wrong, guys. Just had to confirm that it's 5 Blade Guard. They're not on his list that he uploaded, but I'm pretty almost certain that they're in the list that he wrote and that he and I had a chance to write together. They're calling me copium for DA. I agree with that sentiment. I wholeheartedly agree. But yeah, like, how do you account for the characters? That's the thing that always ends up losing it for me. Like, even when I manage to get parity back on the trades, like unit for unit, cool. Your Incubi come in, I kill your Incubi. Your Blood Brides come in, cool, I killed your Blood Brides back. And then the characters just come in and kill everything else, yeah?
Characters are just so much value for points in a Drukhari list. Now there is like in this scenario, I believe the Succubus is behind the unit of Incubi because
she is.
She attacked in combat and bounced
Competitive
away.
edged out. Yeah.
If I were Mitch, I would fly a Talon Master behind that and pick her the closest and just nuke her.
Pop her.
That's what I would try and do.
Yep.
Just because she is one of those units that you want to try kill. You want to try kill fast, if possible. But it seems like he's going to be pulling in to try and do a bunch of damage to this super blob. And I think it'll be interesting to see how much damage he does. He can't really shoot them because they're all tied up in combat with that brave lone survivor Cyclone Rocket Launcher Terminator, who's inadvertently causing the death of his entire army.
Well, so what's interesting is now Mitch has actually stabilized the primary. So if you see on the bottom of the screen, the bottom right-hand objective, that has 2 OBSEC bikes on it. The upper right-hand corner has 3 OBSEC bikes on it, and then a Talon Master is scooted over to contest the upper left-hand objective as well. And presuming that Talon Master is going to clear off the Dark Eldar home objective and give him a 5 on primary. This is actually a big turn for Mitch. If he can pull this off, like a win might not be out of the realm of possibilities. I think it is still. I think not sure he can win from this position, but man, a really good loss is still on the cards.
Yeah, but not only a loss, like that's the thing. In team play, any point that you deny your opponent, if they're looking to get a 20 and you and we're talking a differential for anybody who's new. So you can score from 0 to 100 points in a game of 140,000, right? And
Yes.
it's for every 6 points, it's a differential of 20. So you start with a 10-10, and for every 6 points you beat your opponent by, you basically steal one of their 10 points and put it on
Yeah.
yourself. So if I were to play you, Adam, and you beat me by 6 points, you
Mhm.
would get 11 points to my 9. If
Yep.
you beat me by 11 points, you would get a 12 to my 8 until there's a potential of 20-0, which I believe
Which
you
is
need
50
like a
points.
50-point
Yeah.
difference, right? So if you were to get a 95 and I got a
Yeah. It's
45,
dude. A
that would
50-point
be a
win is actually really hard.
20-0.
Is really hard.
It is very hard to do against a good
Mhm.
opponent. So if Mitch can mitigate that point loss here and pull the Drukhari down from a 20-0 to a 17-3 or 17-4, remember there's 4 other games that are happening, right? And those 3 points that he scored in this game could mean the difference between winning the round or losing the round. And that's the one of the beautiful things about team play. It's you're allowed to lose your game in a team matchup, especially if it's a game that was designed for you to lose anyway in the first
Mhm.
place. The key is to lose it by as little as possible, try get as many points as you can.
Yeah, I do. One thing I really like what Mitch has done. I really like that he has kept the bikes in combat with the Kronos. In fact, I'd love him to charge the other unit into him as well, uh, because there's no chance those Kronos can kill down 5 bikes anytime soon. I see the unit of 2 bikes at the bottom. I'd love them to charge the Raider and then tag the Kronos. I think that'd be a great job. Do you think that's a good play?
100%. To be honest, I'm surprised he didn't turbo boost his apothecary biker up onto that biker unit that's tagging the Cronus in the top corner to bring
To bring one
and
back and heal
heal
it.
to bring
Well,
one back and heal him back.
I'm assuming that's because he's going to do that for the termies. He's got 1 termy left. He's going to try and regrow the unit, and heal and grow there, and still and giving the 5 up feel no pain to that whole bubble. He's got a Talon Masters going in. He's got Azrael. He's got Ezekiel. He's got what looks to be a couple of Terminators from a command squad and the Blade Guard going in. You're right. It could have been a really good play as well. And if he was going for what I thought, he should do was before I learned he had 5 more, he had 5 Blade Guard. So that really changed the dynamics here because I didn't think he had any ability to kill himself
Yeah,
out
he,
of this
he
blob.
kept his counter charge. Like he kept
Mm,
some counter charge back, which is smart play by Mitch.
clever, yeah.
Having a heavier unit like ready to counter charge because he knows that Anthony's going to come in aggressive, come in
Mm,
hot, and he wants to be able to push back, take his objective back, start scoring his points again.
yep,
And hopefully putting enough pressure up with the bikes to sort of tie Anthony up
yeah.
mid game, right? He's
So
already cracked open one of
yeah,
he's
and
already cracked open one of the raiders, and now he's starting to kind of
if
kill
you
the stuff inside.
if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say it's the Trueborn Raider. That's the biggest threat to him right now. If he clears his home objective, the Trueborn have to go because firstly they'll pop this Talon Master that's right next to him in like a freaking heartbeat. That guy just dies, and then they're a very good thing at picking up bikes, like phenomenally good at picking up bikes. So I
Kill
think
everything. Trueborn
yes,
are phenomenal. They're
yes.
so good.
That's the choppy Talon Master as well. So if that guy hasn't shot, that unit's dead. If that if that Talon Master has shot, then he just goes in there and he kills all of them. He's gonna have six attacks hit on 2s, which will be wounding those guys on 2s as well. So 2s by 2s on the Trueborn. He looks like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a 6 or 7 left there. He must have taken a bad explosion if that's all he's got left. Unless that isn't a Trueborn, and I'd be tripping.
Exactly. Now we do have an update from Alex's table. So this is Alex versus Colin Sherman. Alex playing Tyranids, Colin playing Shooty Ultramarine Dreadnought List of Doom. And
Yep.
the quote is Alex morale is very low, says our table box. he said, "Quote: I will be lucky if I can pull 30 points out of this game." End quote.
There you go. Nice. And nothing interesting happening on the other table. Apparently, they're both playing conservative. And I believe that is an update from which table is that an update from? That might be from the Nick Nanavati versus Rich Kilton game, which is exactly what I expected out of that one. Nick is a very conservative player by default, and his list, in addition, is a very conservative list. So yeah, he'd probably be sitting back. They're probably just going to be doing some pinch hitting stuff. I don't want to say this is a good measure for how well people are accustomed to team play, but this is a good mission for getting both players just getting like 60, 70 points. If you want to get a draw on this one, it's pretty reliable to get a draw.
Yeah, especially if your
Well,
list is built around something like minimize losses.
yeah, by
Right.
a draw, I don't mean exactly the same points. I mean like a draw. For me, a draw is everything from I guess a 12-8, 11-9 to a 10-10. That's kind of an acceptable draw range.
I
On
agree.
the differential, that is.
Yeah, and because all you need is like one person to overextend or anything to get a 20-0, and as long as you got like your 8 points, right? You help your team win the round.
Yep, spot on. Looks like we're getting some models picked. Be interested to see where they. Ah, yes, this is a Talonmaster shooting onto the back unit of cabs right at the left-hand side of the table. The fact is there's 2 left there is pretty unfortunate, probably for Mitch. Whatever he shot there, he probably thought was just going to do the job. I do really like bikes. I love bikes for harassing backfield. They are so good. I haven't seen a Terminator. There's the Termi. Another Termi just got placed. I was about to say I haven't seen a Terminator placed yet. There that lad is. And
he's
which
also
one should
got the Terminator Command Squad, and he's also got the Blade Guard, and he's also got the
yeah.
characters coming in as well. Now, does he have the relic to lower invulnerable saves?
No, I don't believe he does
No.
because he's got
Okay.
Arbiter's Gaze, he's got the Heavenfall Blade, and he's got the Relic of the Pendant of Remembrance. So those are his 3, and of course you can't take any more than that.
Storm Bro says, imagine falling asleep watching Warhammer, waking up for more Warhammer. Greetings from Denmark. Hello. Well, we are truly an international stream. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is, of course, the Charity Hammer stream. If you haven't already, participate and donate. This is why we're doing this, to help raise money for Child's Play. Which,
These men and women are exhausting themselves. Having been here last year, I think I got sub 7 hours sleep over the 72 hours that I was doing Charity Hammer. Didn't feel tired, didn't feel drowsy. That's that I might be the exception to the rule there, but man, it was a hell of a ride. Tamagotchi Dachi Express rather. Are there any matches you're really hoping to see this weekend? I am.
especially in the GT. Like that GT
there are a lot.
is going to be spicy, and coverage for that starts tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is going to be pretty exciting. That is the first round of the GT. We've got 32 players, 32 players participating in the GT, which is 16 great tables worth of action happening. It's going to be incredible.
So some matchups that I want to see. I want to see some of the really good players that aren't playing the super strong lists play. And that's like a Michael Timpe versus Alex McDougall. I want to see that matchup. So that's Necrons versus Tyranids. Just because they're 2 super good players playing off-brand armies. And I just want to see the interplay there because I feel like now some people say, and there's a lot of hyperbole around saying, the top echelon in the game, when everyone's playing super hard lists, the games are boring. I don't think that's the case at all. But I do think there's a lot of fun interplay and nuance that you see on a top table that you don't see on the lower tables, and vice versa. So I'd love to see that. I also really want to see how Orcs do. I want to see how Orcs play into Sisters. I want to see how Orcs play into Admech and Drukhari. I really want to see how they hold up. Because this essentially is the first Shark Tank measuring stick for the Orc Codex, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're even having like a full orc off, essentially. What does war have to do with it? Right? They are getting was it 6 of the top orc players
it's 4.
to have is it 4?
Yeah.
4 of the top orc players on the planet playing completely different orc lists, beating each other up to see which is the best orc. Like
I love it.
how much orkier than that can you get?
Spot on. Looks like the Blade Guard have gone in with their the character goodness has made it as well. He does have a Raven Wing champion, which I suggested he drop. Actually, I suggested he not take the Raven Wing Champion anymore. I actually don't see him. I don't see 2 bike models. I think that's what, because that's what I thought he had to drop to get in the Blade Guard to make the room for the 5 Blade
It
Guard.
seems like he listened to your thought process there,
Yep.
and I think that is incredible. Now, I want to say though, Incubi, of course, still very dangerous, making units fight last. Drazar,
Yes.
still very dangerous, making units fight last.
Mhm.
The Cult of Strife, always strike first in close combat. Like
Yep.
there is that is, even though he's charging in to do some damage, that is by no way a foregone conclusion of what it's going to look like at the end.
Oh, as we've seen right now, we just see that Talonmaster's charged into the radar. Maybe he decided he didn't have enough attacks to clear that objective, or whatever he's gotten out there is more than he feels like this guy can handle, or he just wants him to be protected, and he's going to use the runaway to get himself back up into the right hand corner. I'm not sure about that play. I would have gone for and tried to clear that objective. Giving his opponent the 5 at this point would have been fantastic. Oh, but wait, he failed to clear the left hand objective, so it was a moot point. Getting a 10, he was always going to get a 10 anyway. So yeah, clearing that objective really doesn't make any sense. I think this might be the right play, trying to take down another raider. Good option. And
Well,
yeah,
killing a raider is always good, and it also means that he could potentially attack the raider and then boost away and get himself into that sort of conglomeration
Yep.
of characters and everything to keep alive and to stay relevant for the rest of the game as well.
Yep, spot on. Just saw some rolls there for the 2d6s by Anthony, which to my mind looked like they were the fight last roll. One was a 7 and one was an 8. Neither of those are going to be high enough to make anything in this conglomeration of units fight last. So that
One
means
of the most
Mitch's.
important things to take when you're running those is a set of Grizzly trophies. Make sure that they are close by
Well, he
to
does.
things.
3 of his does have Grizzly trophies, but I'm assuming, well, none of them are close enough to be relevant. But that was a thing. He could have done it.
Now it says, Wiry the Whale Shark says, hope that Danny goes a few rounds into the GT. This event is going to be a bit boring if there isn't a heal. For sure.
I agree. I actually, have you done your predictor?
I've done my predictions. Absolutely, I have.
Who's in the final for you?
It's a Brad Chester John Lennon final for me.
I have Danny McDevitt versus John Lennon in the final.
Interesting. Where do you find that he kind of passes over Brad Chester there, or who beats Brad Chester?
He does.
Okay, you feel
Because
like his list is just crush.
Oh, no, so I looked at all the lists and I looked at Danny's, and Danny's the only one where the vomit started to rise, and I was like, "Dear sweet mother of mercy, this is like the yuckest yuckness in Yucktown," and he can just. That list can beat anybody. I don't care who you are, what name you've got. That list is messed up, man. And yeah, I put it in next. I'm just like, well, I'm going to put the best player in the event, which is John Lennon, against the best list in the event, which I think is Danny McDevitt's. And so that was how I got to that final.
It is definitely a pukey list, that's for sure.
A
Why don't you
pukey
tell
list
folks at
indeed.
home? Why don't you tell folks at home what what is behind curtain number 1?
What's he taking?
Yeah.
Oh, my dude, it is the. Oh. Alright, so he is taking so this is the first time I think we've seen a full-blown Book of Fire AdMech build. I haven't seen anybody. I've been looking and looking and looking. I've yet to see like a full, build around the Book of Fire. He's taken Styges, and he's taken Veteran Cohort, of course. He's got two Marshals and a Manipulus. Then he's got two 20-man Ranger blocks, two 20-man Vanguard blocks, two 9-man Infiltrators, and a 10-man Rust Stalkers, 2 units of Bellstari, and 1 unit of Cerberus Raiders. And that's the whole list. And
I don't think there's enough chicken walkers in this list, Adam.
well, if you look at this field, I think there's a perfect amount.
AKA 0.
No, I think 4's fine for this field. I mean, look at it here. All you need to do is just kill. He's only got four raiders for it to kill. Like, not that hard. But yeah, I think
Unless you roll invulnerable saves like I do, Adam.
like you do. Yes, you're quite famous for it. But this list is yuck. It's so yuck. Do you know how the Styges works?
No, but please enlighten me.
So it essentially gives them redeploy. I'm going to quickly bring them up now for our viewing pleasure. But it's I don't want to speak out of turn, so I might need you to carry for a couple of minutes while I pull this up. But you know you know what
Absolutely.
the Book of Fire stuff is, yeah?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If the tiger does it throw, eeny, meeny, donate to Charity Hammer, everyone.
Love your work, mate. Love it. All right, so Veiled Hunter is the Waller trait, which he has. At the start of the first battle round, select up to 2 friendly Stygian units wholly within your deployment zone. Remove those units from the battlefield, then set them up anywhere on the battlefield as wholly within your deployment zone. If the mission is within strategic reserves, then those units can be placed in strategic reserve, blah, 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 blah. In addition to that, clandestine infiltration. Yep.
Mr. Adam, would you mind repeating that at the speed of normal, please?
No, this is how I speaks. Yeah, so it's 2 units get to redeploy.
Crikey. What have I just heard? Crikey.
Crikey. So he's got a redeploy Warlord trait for up to 2 units. They only get to redeploy in his deployment zone or get chucked into reserve. But then he's got clandestine infiltration, which is what we know Stygies for. 1 CP, use a stratagem during deployment. Select 1 Stygies core infantry unit from your army. When you set up that unit, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield, more than 9 away from the enemy deployment zone and enemy models. And we already know what Ruststalkers and infiltrators do. Infiltrators infiltrate. So he's going to have 10 Ruststalkers and 2 units of 9 infiltrators literally knocking on your door turn 1. And if you go second, you've pretty much lost. Because he's just going to swamp you and kill you, and there's not much you can do about it. And if you don't, he can just redeploy them, or push up the units of Vanguard up onto the line if he goes second, or back into his deployment zone. If he goes second, and keep him safe and play a very good defensive game, play a very good offensive game. It's just really, really, really strong. So the Book of Fire gave so much to infiltrators to the Kataran units. 5 up, feel no pain, advanced charge, extra attacks. They can just do it all now, and they're actually so off their nut. They're so good.
Yeah, they're really good. Especially with the I want to see a Metallica list because of the auto advance 6 inches with
Yeah, I
the
think it's
advance in
good.
charge.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of stuff that'd be really, really good. However, I think Infiltrators and Ruststalkers are some of the best units in the Adeptus Mechanicus book
Yeah.
in combination with the large blocks of Rangers, especially Rangers, but also Vanguard.
Yeah, spot on. It looks like he has charged into the Raider with the unit of bikes at the bottom, and it looks like we're deep into the fight phase, but it looks like that unit hasn't tagged into the Chronos. I haven't seen many of the witches being picked up. I think I see maybe half the unit left, but there certainly doesn't look like there's much in combat with the Incubi, so maybe he's just going after characters.
I would try and kill the characters as quickly as possible. Those characters do a lot of damage. However, it does seem that Drazar has gone down, which does mean that most of the other characters will be safe. However, there's still after that big unit of 9 Incubi goes down, there's another 10 Incubi that still need to come out of the
Yeah.
Raiders. That's
Lying in
not
wait.
the end of it. And I feel like those characters might be short for this world.
So, update from the Colin Sherman, Alex McDougall game. Alex is really playing his heart out, set himself up for a lot of big gamble plays that would have really swung the game had they paid off. Unfortunately, no such luck. They did not pay off, so we're looking like we're going to see a bit of a clubbing, unfortunately, for Mr. McDougall on his game. I'm going to ask our table boss here, please let us know what died from that big clump on the home objective for the Dark Angels. Please let us know what has died there. I'd love to get a little bit of a breakdown. You said you saw Drazar get picked up?
Well, Drazar is no longer where he was.
It's true.
So I'm assuming he is now dead.
Yeah, well, if he's not there, well, where is he?
Some of the succubuses or the blood brides are definitely getting picked up right now. It seems like
Looks like
they
4.
4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
I think that's the whole unit.
Yeah, it might be. It could definitely be. Maybe we have one left with Morvane's Agonizer or whatnot. Considering but the Incubi, that big blob of Incubi,
Untouched.
and the succubus that's behind them. I feel like there's a missed opportunity there to, have killed her by moving that Talmaster behind.
So here's one thing that I don't like. You see that I don't know what those 2 models are that are sitting just to the right of the Incubi, but they just got piled into by the Incubi, and the Incubi will get to swing on them. So that is a bit yuck. Because it looks like they're activating now.
I think you. Yeah, I'm assuming that either is a Terminator Command Squad,
Yep.
or it's a couple of characters.
Agreed. How does Chris? Hello, amigos. Hello to you too, my brother. Tell us, give us some shout outs in chat. Where do you hail? What are you doing? What are you hoping to get out of this charity hammer? Are you hoping to win anything? Are you hoping to see us get to like $25,000, $30,000? And who are you hoping is going to win and take it all? Yeah, which team? Are you on Team Lennon? Are you on Team Boy King? Are you on the team Old Rickety Brown Magic? I'm on the Boy King's team, for sure. Team
I
Lennon all the way.
am. Like for this one, you know what? As much as I honestly feel like Lennon is that that up and comer has a whole bunch to prove against the old establishment. You've got Nick, you got Brad, you've got all you've got all this experience, and it's the freshness of going in with a new, fresh set of eyes that might carry the day here. My hat is in the ring for Lennon's team.
Beautiful. We got another one for the Boy King. I cannot pronounce what that is.
That is John
Zakatiatis.
Lennon, the Boy King, John Lennon.
Nah,
He's
the name.
that's his.
The name. I
Oh,
couldn't
oh,
pronounce the name of it.
Zacatecas.
Ah, beautiful.
That's yeah.
That's why I keep you around, Scary, to pronounce all the
Because
crap I can't.
I was born and raised in Mexico. You are
Okay,
racist.
I'm not
So I
racist.
can
I'm
I
just
can say all the Mexican like pronunciation names.
literally, dude. Have you heard me speak? I can't pronounce anything.
Wait, you can't even pronounce your own name.
No, I'm
It's
horrible.
true.
I live in Australia, right? We don't have that much cultural exposure. So
You know what? Yeah, you are a big island that
isolated. Hated.
yeah,
Hated. Hated.
absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of love for the Boy King, John Lennon,
It is.
from all over the place, which is great. It's nice to see the passion that people feel for the game right now. A quick Charity Hammer update. Let's take a look at what we have for donations. The goal for the whole weekend originally was $20,000. We're sitting at $18,500 donated. So
Wow.
if you can, you can donate as little as you want, as much as you want. And if you can't donate, that's fine. Grab the link to the streams, share it everywhere. This is a 72-hour long stream starting like basically earlier today and going till Sunday. So there's tons of time. Share it with people, have some fun, roll some dice, and see some great action happening in support of kids in need.
Perfect. And in addition to that, this is not even the actual main event. The main event starts tomorrow morning, guys, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have 32 of the best players in North America and Canada playing in a single elimination GT being streamed on multiple tables. Like, you're going to have 3 streams up per game, per day. You're going to be able to see over on Charity Hammer, on the Art of War, on Frontline Gaming, and here on BiffPod, where we're going to have kind of the main conglomerate stream. Hopefully, by then we'll be able to jump around from different tables, and call all the games in action, putting a lot of pressure on our table boss, the lovely Tyler, to get that up and running for tomorrow. If not, we'll just be sitting tight, yelling at you, telling us all about all the sweet stuff that's happening, keeping you guys updated on all the saucy, amazing intrigue that's happening from this event. And this is really like, I mean, this isn't like a super major for anybody that has real stakes for like ITC points, but man, there is a lot of bragging rights up for grabs here every year.
Oh, I think the bragging rights is what people come for, like, and of course to support the charity, but bragging rights for the rest of the year, being like, I crushed you at Charity Hammer, because you're up, you're tired, you're playing tons and tons of games all the time. Like, it's a huge test of skill.
Absolutely. And it's an absolute murderer's row here, man. Like, there are no easy games. There is no walkovers. Hell, we thought Mitch was down and out, and Mitch just made a hell of a game out of this. I still don't think he's going to win, but my God, he's making himself look good and putting his chin out there saying, hey, man, I can take another hit.
Absolutely. Then again, Dark Angels are used to falling.
Ha! Ha! Boo. Boo. Do you know what sucks? When I'm the Dark Angels player, and all the jokes that I have and all the ways I can slag on your faction, Scary, are not PG. It's not fair. All of it is just like debauchery. I can't even. I'm not allowed to say the words. It sucks. It's not a fair equation.
It's definitely not, but we'll take it. After all, we Dark Eldar don't like playing fair.
Someone disagrees with something I said. This is basically the top tables of a 2-day super major. Yeah, it is, but like I said, there aren't a huge amount of points on the line. Nobody's going to be walking. None of these players walk away with any money, any prizes. There's nothing at the end of this for them, apart from a pat on the back and saying you were the best man on the day. And in saying that, when you have such good players, it means a lot to win this event. And that's what I was saying. I was saying there's no monetary value, there's no ITC points there, but it means a lot to the guys here for who wins and how well they do. Especially because they come from a lot of different places and represent a lot of different crews. Like Thomas Bird is here, representing Play on Tabletop, I believe. We've got Art of War. We've got Biff Pod represented. We've got whatever Alex McDougall is. I think he's Art of War as well. We've got any other groups? JT McDowell from Play on Tabletop.
Yep. As for groups, nomenclature of groups, all I know them all as the wonderful global community of Warhammer 40,000 players.
I just know them as my people.
That's how we roll. Beating the Boy King at Charity Hammer is basically winning Warhammer World Championship. Yeah, 100%. If you can beat these players, they are the top players in the world right now.
Well, so who do you think's winning? So this ITC season, I think it's between Nate and Chester and Lennon. Yeah, those are the three guys who I'm seeing of just
Nick Narvati has his. Richard Siegler has his. I think John Lennon. They're going to be pushing for John Lennon to have his, or or he did it last year. I'm pretty sure that the Art of War teams we're pushing really hard to kind of be at the top of the pack this year. But we'll see. That'll be my year 2022, 2023. When the Drukhari Codex is bad again. Like that, I can take actual credit.
You actually going to go for a run? You reckon you're going to go for a run at it, Sky? Is he calling your shot?
I 100%. If I could travel, I would have done it last year. I had it all lined up. I was going to go to Nova. I was going to go to Adepticon. I was going to go to all the big events, and then it all got shut down.
Well, I had the same thing. Except I was going to be streaming Nova. I was going to be streaming Adepticon. I was going to be, and I was just get to sit at home and do what people let me do. It sucks, but it's still amazing. I'm just grateful I get to do it, mate.
Oh, he did not take the objective back, but it was close. Mitch almost took this objective back, which is a bit of a shame, but that does shut down the stubborn defiance.
Well, what that tells you is that there's that one witch that survived, because that's the only OBSEC model that would have been there for Anthony, was enough to tilt the model count. So that turned off the OBSEC versus OBSEC, the OBSEC Terminators versus OBSEC thing, and then there must have been enough Incubi and such to take that back off him. Now, I think the Incubi have been diminished greatly. It looks like there's only about 4 or 5 left from that unit with the characters. I'm interested to know if he did auto-pass the Hexbride, because she did lose 7 of her number, so she'd fail. Are they Leadership 9 when they're the Hexbrides? Because they get +1, yeah?
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty sure, did he pick the combat drug? I like rolling my combat drugs, but that's just me.
It's because you're a maniac.
That's because I've been playing Dark Eldar for very long, and of course, when it comes to combat drugs, why pick one? Let's just do all of them.
True.
Well, it's interesting to see. Like, I think that Succubus is still alive. Like, she's in there somewhere. Like, and that is a competitive edge triptych whip Succubus. That thing will kill all the blood, all the like you'll kill everything.
I'm interested that he didn't charge the bikes into the Chronos, and they've picked up another one of those bikes. And he looks like he didn't pay the 2 CP to bail the Talonmaster after attacking, which is what I assumed he was going for there.
Maybe he just ran out of CP, to be honest.
Maybe
I think he might have used a lot of CP to try and bring models back or keep models alive. I think that might be the case.
We might see if our table bots can tell us how many CP these gents have got. And going into this turn, what spirits are the gents in? Does Mitch think he's cooked? Does he think he's full baked or half baked, or he thinks he's just ready for the oven now?
Body language, Adam. I'd say he definitely feels like he's on the down and down. And of course, that is the wonderful Peter the Falcon. The Falcon himself on screen.
Look at him, love that man.
He is absolutely all the love out to Peter the Falcon. Yeah, we love you.
He one of the more unsung heroes about of the community. Poor Adam being better and trying to keep the stream family friendly while Skari is advocating drug use.
I'm also telling you misspelt Skari, so I don't know who Skari is.
Where was that? He did keep the stream friendly. Skari.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
call
who
it.
that is.
I'm calling you
I
that man from now on.
it's plausible deniability here, Adam.
But on a unit of blood brides, what ones ideally do you want to roll?
Um, well, the thing is, look, when I'm teaching someone how to play Drukhari, like one of the things I'll say, if you're learning how to play it, pick it, right? Pick
Yeah.
the option that you want. So for Blood Bride, they generally go for +1 strength. +1 strength, making them strength 3 to strength 4, means that it kind of crosses the threshold. You're wounding toughness 4 things on a 4 plus. You're wounding vehicles and things that are toughness 6 and 7 on 5s, which changes the math drastically. Especially if you're using Cult of Strife, which allows you to access to the reroll wound rolls stratagem, which then makes them a lot more efficient at killing. Then if you're running the smaller, more harassy style units, I'm usually taking, if I'm picking something, I'm picking the +2 inches of movement on them. So they have a 10-inch movement, they can run around the table, contest objectives a lot easier, tie things up if you need them to, and they just become more utilitarian that way with a lot more
Mm,
speed.
yeah.
Now when I'm rolling for them, it really doesn't matter what I roll. I love getting 2 bonuses. I get 2 bonuses instead
Yeah.
of 1, and I take blast pistols on all my witch units anyway. So if I roll the +1 ballistic skill, now their blast pistol hits on 2s. Like it's all round awesome.
I'm just getting so yeah. I do. You're absolutely right. And I do think rolling is the confidence when you are confident with the unit that you can, no matter what you roll, it'll still do the job you want it to do because you've got enough reps with it. Yeah, rolling makes all the sense. This the freaking chat's hilarious. I love you dudes. Um,
So much for tuning in. You're all amazing, by the way. Thanks for hanging out.
yeah,
And
I lo-
I do, for the record, Adam, for the
yep,
record, and chat, I do not advocate the use of drugs. I am
me
a
either.
straight shooter, teetotaler. We're talking purely from the Drukharian perspective.
Exactly. I just like the last one in there because it went pretty
Mm.
off the wall there. And the last one is brine him in drugs. Brine
Mm.
him with
Mm.
drugs. Like this
So
is, that's a
let
mental
you
picture.
simmer in there, eh?
Yeah, yeah, percolate. I'm just thinking a 10 gallon drop in the scar eye, you know,
Dropping him in there, letting
fill it
him
up,
simmer,
fill it up. Yeah,
just
yeah.
blah,
Marinate, marinate. Yeah, whatever. Moving on. Back to our game. Update from the other.
seedless watermelons, Adam. How do
Update.
they do it?
Update from the other game. Stop it. Nick is starting to set up some plays in his game versus Rich Kilton, and he says that Rich is now pretty low on the clock. And the stream host said he believes that's why Rich is gonna, Nick's gonna start going for it, is because it looks like he's got the clock on in his favor. Every game that's playing right now is on a chess clock with an hour and a half for each player. We're still getting points in for the bottom of turn 3 here for Mitch. But we'll get there when we get there. And right now, the scores are from the Rich and Nick game is Rich on 21, Nick on 17 at the bottom of 3. Those boys are having a low scoring game. That is not going to go one way or another way in a big, big way. Dude, yeah, bottom of 3, 21 to 17. Like,
They've probably just stopped each other from scoring with
yeah,
their
that's
little
exactly,
MSU armies
what
over
I'm
and
thinking.
over and over and over again.
Either that or they don't want to be the first guy to start losing models in the trade war, and they're just held off completely.
Yep, I agree.
Hmm.
I think then again, Nick go like a lot of the times though, like playing conservatively for the 3 turns and then exploding on the 4th and 5th turn. That tends to be a very popular
Well,
way of playing Systems of Battle.
I was about to say, man, that's exactly what we saw. You and I saw John Lennon do round after round after round after round. Do literally nothing,
Yep.
posture up, to keep you
And
from.
then 3rd turn, explode, right? And he
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
everywhere all the time, and he just stopped
Mm.
his opponent from really being able to score any points, or just scored a lot of points in the last couple of turns.
Yeah, it's like and Drukhari can do the same thing. You just do enough to ensure your opponent doesn't get any 15s. Give him a
Yep.
5 if you can, and then
Yep.
go for the throat in the last couple of turns. Especially when
Yep.
you're going second, I find it's a really awesome play.
Yeah, you don't really need to overextend or anything like that. Now, of course, in this case, what we've seen is that Anthony, the Drukhari player, trying to go for what we consider a 20-0 play. Like, he
Yeah.
has to get aggressive because if he doesn't, Mitch, who is a very defensive army, can score points and keep it relatively close the further the game gets. He just scores points.
Yeah, I believe Mitch is going to be very close to table at the end of this turn. Looks like we're already almost into a charge phase, or maybe this is just Talus moving up. There was 2 bikes at the bottom right-hand objective, and they are both gone.
Yeah, I
So
believe they got flamed, Adam.
yeah, I would say that
They
they got
got
flamed. Yeah,
and just
and
murdered.
caught some Dark Lancers in their teeth. Not good for your breath. Bad breath from those Dark Lancers.
Definitely did not like that.
No. Onion
No.
and garlic and Dark Lance makes for bad kissing. Yeah.
The Whale Shark asks, is clock management something that shield/sword players have to worry about more than others? Clock management is just something in general that as a competitive player, you should get good at managing your time. It's funny because some people feel bad about using a clock or feel a lot of pressure using a clock. I feel using a clock, Adam, is very liberating in the game. Like from a personal perspective,
Me
I
too.
find
I
that
feel
I
amazingly
I
liberated.
I love being able to play the game without worrying that what I do is going to take time away from my opponent or it's not going to let the clock finish. If I need to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to think of a turn, move my models around, really digest what's going to happen, I love knowing that that's just on me. It's my
Yeah.
time and it doesn't affect my opponent.
Yep,
And
spot on.
and then I don't feel like my opponent is stressing about wanting to finish the game.
Yep, exactly right. I do think if I was going to break it down to its most nuanced level, I think sword players have to worry about it more. Sword players, if you're playing a sword list, you have more. So playing a shield list, not so much pressure. Not so much pressure.
Yep.
No
Yep.
one's going to be surprised if things go a bit downhill for you or if things blow out. When you're playing a sword list, there is an expectation that you get enough points in the bank that you are the biggest reason that, especially in these 5-mans, technically there's only two guys need to win. You get 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. And if your losses were bigger or your wins were bigger than their wins, you win the event. Good for you. So you win the round. And so the sword lists have to get the points. If a sword list doesn't get enough points, that's on you. That's like on you, especially if it's on the clock management as well. That's entirely your fault.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's very important. Like then again, if you haven't practiced with a clock, practice. And you'll get used to it over time.
And the one thing I'd like to say the most that you should practice is deployment. Deployment is something you can practice entirely on your own. Don't need anybody else there, and you have all the deployment mats set up. Just practice your deployment. Get your deployment down to sub 5 minutes, and you're usually looking pretty. But sometimes I'll see people like lose 17 minutes in deployment. I'm like, man, yeah, that's gonna cost you later. If that costs you
Love deployment on a clock, especially you go, I go deployment. Like I put a unit down, click. They put a unit down, click. I put a unit down, click. You're trying to like it's like a little dance because you're like grabbing your models, and as you're grabbing your models, like your opponent clicks it over, you're like and you're
Yeah.
like put your models down, and you're like back to you, and they're like I put one model down, like this character, and they're like click, and you're like no.
Yeah. So interesting. Looking at this middle cluster, looks like there's one blade guard that's been deaded, and looks like nothing has fallen back from the. Actually, I thought I did see the incubi, out of combat. Maybe they killed them.
Fell back. I think they fell back and they're gonna do the full back
Yeah.
in charge. I believe
Either
so.
that or they killed themselves. They killed themselves out of combat because there was only about 5 left, and so if the Terminators did kill a couple and they got them out, so be it. Looks like the Terminator from the main block has been deleted. Looks like we still got a unit.
He died. He died in the
Yeah.
last combat phase.
Yeah, it looks like we got a unit of Terminators directly above that center objective, and then another unit to the right of that center objective, with the Apothecary being right below, and then the Talonmaster, the Blade Guard, and a couple of characters. I'd love to know if like Ezekiel or Azrael are still alive. I'm assuming they're not, and that they've been picked up. But yeah, it's looking like this might be mop-up mode, especially if the Blade Guard go down. There goes the Talonmaster. I assumed he wasn't long for this world. Unfortunately, if I was Mitch, I would not have committed a Talonmaster to that combat. They don't
Nope.
without
They
being
don't need
tricked
to
out.
be anywhere near that combat. Like he's
And,
got the speed, he's got the maneuverability. He could have been like on a board corner, in a corner, on an edge, just far away, like ready to be used on turn 3, turn 4.
And in addition, a Talonmaster that's not kitted out for combat is no good in combat. It's 4 attacks with a power sword. Like it's not contributing enough to warrant getting the guy killed.
Not enough chainswords, Adam.
Yeah, spot on. Chainswords. Well, that's the thing. I actually I've been talking to some Blood Angels players. 5 Death Company with the chainsword. Just one chainsword with 5 Death Company. Take it.
Yep.
Take it. Put it on your army.
They give him Assault Doctrine with the priest and send them up.
Send them off.
They
Yeah.
get really killy really fast.
They're fine. Um, look at the viewer count. Nice. Back to
Nice. Back to being a Drukhari player. Duts, 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 duts. Valerie says, wait, isn't it late in the USA? Well,
Yeah,
it's late in every place where it's late in the world.
it is, and it's not late in the places that aren't late.
And it's also early in all the places that it is early in the world.
Yeah, and I think that's all of them. That's the early places, the not late places, and the late places.
And then
All
it
the
depends
bases are
on a
covered.
person to person. Sometimes they wake up early because they have to go to work, and sometimes they wake up late because it's early for them.
Can Kronos shoot into combat because they're monsters?
They can indeed.
Yeep. No wonder that's what happened to those bikes.
Oh yes, they get
yeah, see,
murdered.
the other unit of bikes at the top that has been murdered, so that unit of Kronos is charging down to the other two bikes, and looks like something has gotten out of that transport, the radar, just to the left of that Talon Master in the middle of the board. So he's going to be probably getting invested in. I'm assuming it's going to be a 5-man unit of Incubi. That's probably the best thing I could think of for that job left available for the Drukhari player, because literally everything else that he's got that is kind of killy is invested into this middle cluster on the right-hand side. Look, there is still enough elements there for Mitch that if he gets through this combat well, he will be in a good position to still get a bunch of points. My issue is here, I don't know how he kills the Kronos anymore. I think the
No,
Kronos at this
he
point,
literally like the Chronos now have free reign
they run the
of the
table. Yeah.
entire table.
Do you guys use that term, running the table, when you just get a unit that's in a pre-ultimate state, it can no longer be accounted for and just get to do what it want? Think about the Castellan. The Castellan list. The Castellan ran the table. It was the thing that
Not a
dominated the
term.
board.
That's not a. It's domination. We say dominate, but we don't
Yeah,
like running the table. I don't know. That sounds like a sprinter trying to be fast. Like
fair.
what sort of terminology is that? Some sort of weird Australian one, I assume.
Well, you run the table, like you own the table.
You okay? Dominate the table. Run like own the table. Sure. Run the table.
Yeah, run the table. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take your word for it.
You run it, you operate it.
Chat saying that the later I stay up, the crazier the commentary will get.
120%. If you think this is crazy, wait until I'm into my 16th hour of commentary tomorrow, which will be what I'm doing. You can see
You're a
some
trooper, Adam.
wild stuff. Whatever, it is what it is. You're taking on my first one for me, which I'm very grateful for. I was going to do 5 in a row tomorrow, but instead I'm only doing 4, thanks to the lovely Scary.
You need to have some sleep.
Yeah,
Wave the table, says Valerie.
wave the table.
Absolutely. Isn't it
Yeah,
a poker term?
Yeah, run the table is a poker term. The person who has the most chips is like usually running the table. They set how high the bets goes because they can always call your bets or run over your bets or your calls. So yeah, we just had a Cromwell. Just did Kilton's game end already? How did he do? If so, how's he doing? If not, so right now it's the bottom of turn 3 with a very close game, 21-17. For currently Rich up by 21-17 for Nick. Bottom of turn 3.
Rick did go first, and
Rich did go first.
Nick has the bottom of turn, which I believe is going to probably give him the edge in that matchup, which they're going to need considering Colin has crushed Alex, and
yeah, we
and
just
it
saw that
seems
score
like
come
Anthony
through.
will be running around. With beating Mitch over here.
Yeah, looks like we just had our first game wrap up. The Colin Sherman versus Alex McDougall game has been called a 96-46 point win for Mr. Colin Sherman with his Ultramarines
That is 50 points.
That is a 20-point win on the dot. So that 20-0 in the bank for Lennon, the Boy King, and his retinue of crushers have got a 20 on the board, and it's all up to Nick now to try and claw it back for him and his team. He has to make some big calls here because what it looks like Mitch is going down here, so that's another possible L for the Brown Magic in his squadron. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, good thing he wore his brown pants.
Where are the amazing custodes? Too good for this show? Almost definitely. So there's one custode player at this event. I think it's Bridger, representing Tabletop Titans, and you better see him play in one of the pods tomorrow for the GT. I'm not sure. I must actually see who he's playing. Let's have a quick rundown and just check out what the bracket is. I don't mind the man's list. I think the man's list is fine. I just worry about him in this Shark Tank of an event. It is quite a vicious field, and not for the faint of heart. Let's see if we can get that pairing up. So where's my predictor? For those of you who haven't done it, please go over to the challenge predictor for Charity Hammer. I'm going to post up a link in the Twitch chat. Jump on over, put in a prediction. Who knows, you might win something if you get it spot on. Who's Bridger playing? Bridger is playing Tim Pinney. You know Tim Pinney from Art of War?
Yep, Tim. And I'm excited to see a lot of these games happen.
Valerie's a savage. I want to see Custodes get crushed, tabled on turn 2. You're a brute. You're an absolute brute. So the Custodes are playing against Sisters. So that is Mr. Tim Pinney's list. He's taking a Valorous Heart. What is that? It's a Patrol with Morbid Vile. He's taking Ethereal Stern and Kyganel. That's an interesting one. And an Inquisitor. This looks like it's very tech heavy. A couple of units of Mortifiers as well. And then goes into the Argent Shroud. He's got a bunch of... Wow! It's 3 units of Penitent Engines, 2 units of Mortifiers.
Oh yeah,
Man, that's
it's a meme list of how many Penitent Engines and Mortifiers can I fit in a list.
It is. I'm just having a quick look at Bridges again. My only issue with that is I actually think it's quite good for Bridger. 2 Galatis Dreadnoughts and 2 Telemons. And his Shadow Keepers. Man, those Telemons are gonna run the table here because they're actually extremely good in that matchup.
The speed that they run at, Adam.
Well, you put the 2 Telemons up front, make them the thing you have to account for, and just see if that's enough, I guess.
The meme engine list, says the Whale Shark. Yep,
It is the meme engine. 100%.
Tons of engines, 100%.
Yeah, that list is savage, and the thing is, like Custodes, like if you play that into like an AdMech list, the AdMech list will just be like half of them are dead turn 1. But into Custodes, their shooting isn't phenomenal at picking up that many of them. He might lose a unit of 3, or maybe 4 or 5 of them in a turn, but then like turn 2, they're on top of you.
Yeah, and then he also brought Eldar because Eldar and are allied with Sisters now.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, why did he take those? What do they offer to that list that I'm not seeing?
Meme list or meme potential.
Just
maybe
literally meme potential. The meme potential cannot be discarded. Like,
if you lose to that list, like you rue the day. Like we're talking about, how the players here at Charity Hammer are looking for bragging rights. Well, they're also looking for ways to humiliate their opponents, and
That's
with
true.
the most meme lists possible, where they can say, "Hey, you lost to me." And I was playing Sisters with an Eldar.
Well, a lot of these people are mates. A lot of these people are long-standing mates, and a lot of these people like see each other every year at Charity Hammer, and so they just want to troll. Like at some point, you just want to troll everybody. And there is a thing, when you're in the position of someone like Tim Pinney or like Bridger, being realistic, you can't see them making the finals or going crazy deep. Hopefully, they win a game or 2 and things go really well for those gents. But if you're not going to go all the way, have some fun. Meme it up. I think it's great.
That's one of the reasons I like taking. You know what, Adam? You know what I like taking?
Court of the Archon.
Void Raven Bombers, Adam. Void Raven Bombers.
Archon with a single Lemaine. Value.
Yeah, single Lavian. I troll people with single Blackstone Fortress Urgles.
Love it. Looks like we've still got a couple of units here. Looks like the Blade Guard have been diminished down to 2 models, but the Apothecary is still alive, so I expect them to start getting some resi goodness. It looks like he's just measuring out, trying to see where he wants to res. I think is that the Incubi? Probably some characters gone in there. I really want to know what characters are left for Mitch. He's lost less this turn than I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna lose the Talon Master as well.
Those invulnerable saves can be... No, the thing about Chronos is they don't kill anything. Like, Chronos just don't kill things in close combat. They kill things in shooting. They don't... And now the Talon Master is just going to fly away and murder all the models on objectives.
Yeah, that's exactly what he has to do. He just has to fly away, clear those 2 backfield objectives, and just... I don't know if he can stop his opponent getting a 45, but do everything you can, because that's pretty much the only thing he can hamper his opponent on now. Just an update from the Nick Nanavati Rich Kilton game. 35 to 36. 35 to 36. Rich's way going into round 4. So that is very close. We've got 37 minutes left on the clock.
We're looking at maybe a 10-10 or a 12-8, and that is a win for Rich. But considering Rich was a defender that pulled Nick out of the match.
Out of the pool. Yeah, exactly. Because Rich got put up and Nick got paired in. And so, Rich essentially is holding Nick down from possibly getting a bigger win elsewhere. But it'd be interesting to unpack that later. Hopefully, the Biff Pod guys might do a post show where they just get some anecdotes from the two captains on how they did. Just had an update from the Brad Chester versus Michael Timpe game. That went pretty much the way we thought it would go. We thought it was pretty much going to be in Brad's favor, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I believe Brad, but we haven't heard any updates from that game so far from
We
our
just
table
got
bosses.
we just got the final score, so that one has been wrapped up, and
Oh,
Brad won 16-4. So Michael did get a couple of points out of that, which I think he can be pretty proud of because that is a savage matchup for him.
yeah, and hey, good on him. Like Drukhari are not easy to get points against, and Brad knows what he's doing. So it's definitely. Then again, Brad has been playing a lot of singles events where you're trying to win by 1 point to win, which means that he might just be a little rusty, getting 20 outs. Brad,
Getting 20s, yeah, getting
get good
50-point
scrub.
wins. Getting 50-point wins is a hard thing to do consistently. So what's a
100%.
14? What's a 16-4? That's like about a
So
35. Yeah, 40.
it's 6-11.
Yeah, it'd be
No,
35.
it's a
Yeah,
4 point. Yeah, 36 points.
yeah, 36 to 40 is the yeah. But yeah, this one, look at the scoreline here for these two guys. 50 to 22. 50 to 22. And Mitch went first, guys. This one, I think Mitch, if he plays right from here, can hold his opponent off a 20. But literally, if Anthony gets a 20 and Colin got a 20, and with the Rich Kilton game being so close already, that's pretty much sunk it for team Nick Nanavati. I think two 20-point wins and a draw would be enough to win this event, seeing as he hasn't given up a 20, and he might win by the 4 points that Michael Timpe got.
And I believe that's what we said. The team was stacked in Nick's favor, but I believe the matchups went in the Boy King's way. Yeah.
When we saw the pairings, both you and I, we both like, before we saw what were patched up, we were like, how does on experience, yeah, there's like 12 ETCs of experience on Team Nanavati and 0, but there's some ATC experience on Lennon.
And
But
can have a
surely,
team tournament. Can have
yeah,
a team
yeah,
tournament experience.
yeah, but surely that means that you'd think the pairings would fall to Nick and Chester's way. Chester literally does all the pairings for Team USA, does them all. So you'd think it would go his way. But yeah, it looks like when we saw the matchups, we were like, this one, Lennon's team probably wins. This one. There's only really one where we thought Lennon team might go down, and there's the one they did go down, and that one didn't give up a 20, which is the one we just saw, the Michael Timpe Brad Chester game. So well done to Timpe. That was we thought it was, well, we knew he was going down. We thought it was pretty likely, but even just getting 4 points
out of that, that
Mm.
is a great pick. Like especially if and then again, we're talking from the perspective of 8-person teams. Like in an 8-person team,
yeah,
4 points is not only 4 points that you stole from your opponent, it's 4 points that you kept. So it's actually like an 8-point swing,
it's an 8 point
not a
swing.
4-point swing.
Yeah, especially when you know your opponent's team needs the 20s to stay in it. I'd be interested to know how much squirm is happening in the corner of Mr. Nick Nardivari, how he's going, because he's going to have to, if he knows what's happening on these tables, if he knows Mitch is most likely going down, probably not getting a 20, but he's most likely going down. He knows he's gotten 20'd by Colin on that table. Does he start pushing? Does he start like push all in, just push the chips in and see if he can make like an 18 or something happen out of that game?
He
He
needs
does. He
to
needs
have
to.
like at this point. This is where a captain would have to go around and go, and look at the pairings and go, we need like to push to try and like get a draw out of this or to get a win out of this.
Yeah, exactly right. Apparently, Sean Naden's going around with his new list and saying he won't lose another game this year. I love that. I love that he says that knowing the LVO isn't in this year. Cheeky bugger. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he. Well, I'm never surprised when Sean Naden doesn't lose. Like, you know.
Of course. It was very nice seeing him play the games actually when we saw him
Yeah.
play at the Lone Star Open and just like how he just ended up like basically throwing his opponent off balance and just kind of going for it. And I thought that was very, very nicely done.
So
A huge shout out to everybody watching. Highest view count that we've had so far tonight. Awesome. Yeah.
thank you so much,
Over
guys.
70. Thank you for hanging out with us here on the Charity Hammer live stream.
Jump over to Charity Hammer please jump over and support Charity Hammer. Donate if you can. If not, please tell all your friends. Get more eyeballs upon this. The more money we can raise, and it's every single dollar goes towards Child Play, which is an incredible charity promoting and helping and assisting sick children staying entertained and staying comfortable whilst they undergo medical treatment. Please do that. It is an international charity. Happy to announce it is an international charity with a presence well and truly beyond North America. So you can support those close to you by donating also. We've seen some CP dropped by Mitch, and he's paid 2 CP to fall back and shoot, I believe, with that Talon Master that was next to that middle Raider. And it's going to, you're right, it's just going to clear off those two objectives. It's just going to absolutely punt those models off. I don't believe it's enough to hold his opponent off to 15, seeing as his opponent
It
holds.
is a little too late, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. So So maybe he's just trying to get grind points. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to get points where he can at this point. I think that's just like a big part of it.
Um, Winry is curled up in bed now. Dead Nerve has headed off for the evening, I believe. It is getting quite late in North America. I believe it's, what, 11:30 in the evening? So it is getting some people's bedtime.
Druk says we should talk more about the game.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
There are still 3 Raiders on the table.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 that he started with. And I think the top middle one is probably empty. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen it take any wounds. I believe that Talon Master did charge it, jump over to the other side of it. And with the 6 attacks, it's going to be hitting on 2s, winning on 4s. You assume it's going to take somewhere in the region of, 2 to 6 wounds, probably, right on the 4. But what I find interesting is still the amount of Dark Angels models that are alive on this middle objective. It's actually quite impressive. The issue is, though, he can kill the Incubi, he can kill the characters, but what does he do about the unit of 3 Talos that are still, Kronos that are still there, and then the other unit of 3 that are going to join him next turn? I just think that's too much. It's overwhelming.
I think it definitely does overwhelm him. I do still count 6 Chronos there, Adam.
Yeah, it is. What did I say?
No, as in there are 6 Chronos.
There are 6, yeah.
I was being pedantic, Adam.
Oh, yes, okay, whatever. Well done, Scary. Actually, Adam, there's 6 there. Thank you
There
very
are
much.
6.
But you're right, and I still think there's at least 1 unit of Incubi unaccounted for, and some small units here, there, and everywhere. Like we thought that Hellions died turn 1. I can see Hellions on that bottom left-hand objective. I see a unit of 4 of them still
Well,
left.
there's 2 units of 5, right? So he killed 1 unit of 5 that were on the one
Mhm.
objective, and then the other unit was just hiding behind the other objective as well.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like, so the unit that was on the upper left-hand objective for Mr. Vanilla has been picked up, and I assume we're going to see shooting onto the most left-hand side objective as well to get that picked up. Looks like by doing that, what is he doing? He's taking down a banner, and he's putting some money in the bank in the hopes of getting a grind them down at some point to try and close this gap. But look, in all reality, look at the secondary points for Mitch. He's got 2 secondary points.
Yeah,
2.
and I think we went over this before. Well, then again, with his minimized losses, that's of course end game scoring, so it's
Yeah.
not going to be put up until the end. However, he has lost, I'm pretty sure, more than 50% of his army, so he's going to be losing at least 10 points there.
Yeah,
And,
so in all likelihood, he gets a, if he doesn't get wiped, he probably gets a 5 on that, so it's 27 points. He still has the option to get maybe a 2 more 5-point turns, or maybe a 10 and a 5 if he's really lucky and does really well from this position. So maybe on the primary he makes it to 30. Like, if he does do that and gets a 5 at the end, he ends on 37 points. The only issue then is, does Anthony make it to 87?
Yeah, I think he could.
I think he could from this position.
Yeah.
He has enough banners up. Well, he needs to get some more banners up, actually.
Yeah, but those Hellions, they're still alive. They'll bounce around. They move
Hellions-
really fast. They can run it. They're infantry.
They're infantry. I was
100%
about to
they
say
can.
they're bloody infantry, aren't they? That's really
Yes,
good.
they can. They are really
Mm.
good. Hello to all the newcomers coming to watch the stream. This is the first of many games. Well, this is one of 5 games in this team event that we've been shoutcasting. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. I am Scary, and this is Adam Camilleri.
I would like to point out, for those of you who have just joined us, we have just cracked the goal of Charity Hammer on the first day of streaming, which was $20,000, and we have gotten 20,900 in the
Boom!
bank. Thank
That
you
is
so
what
very, very much.
You are all bosses. Thank you so much. Crushing that goal. We haven't even Well, technically it's Friday where I am right now, but we haven't even got into the weekend yet. It's
I
supposed to be a
know.
weekend
Like,
thing.
so the real main event starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., guys. The GT, the single elimination 32 player slugfest. I just chucked up the donation option in the chat. Please jump over there, donate if you can. It's such an incredible thing that the community is able to do at this event, and I hope and I'm very grateful to you guys for supporting us in such a manner. You're all freaking champions. And back to this game.
Champions!
So it looks
There
like
are
the
still 6 Chronos on the table, Adam.
I know, count them. 6.
6 of them.
But it looks like we've still got 3. Looks like we've still got 3 Blade Guard. I'm assuming it's going to be pumped up to 4 because I think he was at 3 at the start of this turn, unless he was. This we're already into combat.
I
And
think
he's lost one.
they're already rolling. They're already
Yeah,
rolling for like
one of them's probably dead already.
shooting or something at this point.
We've still got 2 Terminators from one command squad left, and another 2 from another one that have both made combat this turn. One of them going into the Kronos. I like that. I think that they're quite good to stay in combat there, especially when they got the feel no pain, in order to just survive for a couple of turns in combat with the Kronos, soak up a couple of shooting phases there. And he looks like he actually has still got at least 2 characters left. One of them being the Apothecary, the other one being the Death Guard Ancient. Sorry, not Death Guard, Death Wing Ancient. Jeez, right at the edge of his objective.
Your commentary truly has fallen.
Ah, boo, boo. This is the worst. Do you know the worst thing about playing Dark Angels? Is not the Dark Angels, it's everyone else. It's you, it's your mates, it's just just bringing me down. Incubi getting picked up. We've seen 1 get picked up from that blob of what I believe is 5. I'd really like to know how many characters are left. It looks like the Succubus is gone, unless you can make her out somewhere, mate.
No.
So that'd be Drazar gone, Succubus gone, Archon gone.
Archon's still alive, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, I think Archon's still there.
Is he the one at the
he's
top
still
with the
kicking.
I think he's the one with the wound counter on him. In
Yeah, I
between the
think
Blade Guard and
so.
the Terminators.
I
I think he's got one
believe
left.
that. Oh, no, Succubus is that a Succubus or is that an Incubi? Anyway.
It's so hard to tell. It really is so hard to tell.
For that joke. Why would he? You know? Hey, I thought I'd give Adam, a pick him up. Ha!
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Because you've fallen. Get it, Adam. Get it.
Adam is role playing as a Sky Racing presenter with his speed coverage. Look, if you want to hear me real pop off, like go over to LSO, like and watch the coverage from there. I have no breaks on that stream, and I quite loved it.
There we go. We got some Chronos going to hunt a Talon Master.
Yeah,
We got a Raider
but by all
close.
means, guys, if yeah. So what's the shooting pro? Does every Kronos come with the 2 guns, or do you have to buy the second gun? Because I know they all come
No, the
with the
second
flamer.
gun is a purchase. Everything comes with a flamer for free.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's so good. Like
The
you
flamers
wouldn't really take anything else. It's
The
just
flame is
flamers. That's all you
a
need.
heavy bolter when you supercharge it. Yeah, strength 5 -1 2 damage.
-2 damage.
-2 damage. Yeah, yikes. With +1 to wound. That's spicy.
The spicy tamales. Yeah.
And is it the Spirit Probe? That's the blast attack.
No, Spirit Probe is what you do to get the reroll 1s to wound in a radius. It's the Vortex, which is the blast weapon.
Has he bought the Vortex on these? I don't believe he has. No, he hasn't. He hasn't bought the Vortex on any of these.
Yeah.
They're all just
You just do the flamers. You just keep them nice and cheap, and then buy one probe for each unit of 3, and you're golden.
Looks like that Talon Master has been picked up on the left of screen. That the Talus made short work there. This is proper mop up mode, and Mitch needs to do everything he can to just get like a 1 or 2 points out of this. What he needs to have happen is to offset the Timper game. So they missed out on 4 points in the Timper game because I'm assuming Michael played out of his skin against Mr. Chester. If Mitch can get 4 points out of this game, they offsets that one, becomes a neutral, and then it's up to the Nick Nanavati. And what's the other Nick Nanavati, Everett Kilton? What's our 5th game? There is one more matchup which I cannot recall on my head that we're still waiting for the score on. And if I had to hazard a guess, I think it's the Mark Perry John Lennon game. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yep.
Correct. Which have we heard anything from that Mark Perry John Lennon game? I don't think we have.
I don't think we've heard. But money's on Lennon. He hasn't lost the game in quite a long time.
Then again, when somebody hasn't lost a game for a very long time, they're gonna lose at some point.
He has lost the game. He lost the game at LSO. He went down to Colin McDade
Oh,
in
he
the,
did. He did.
the
And then
last
the
round
first
of
time.
yeah
The
the
first
first
time
time.
he played them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Um, some funny comments there. Tabletop idiots. Nah, it's actually hilarious. Only the Aussies know what is going on.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
pretty funny.
understand what you said there, Adam.
Yeah, no worries. You don't know what's going on. It's fine.
I think he's
we
right.
can't. Yeah, we have a cultural awareness, constantly on the lookout for spiders and or roos and or cassowaries, snakes, yabbies. Like if you're really
What
getting
about
spicy.
what about the like the birds that like attack you when you ride a bicycle?
Cassowaries? Yeah, cassowaries.
Is that what it is? The like
Yeah. Well,
dive
so
bombing birds?
oh no, they're magpies.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. The
they
ones that
are.
like literally like poke your face, like poke your
Yeah,
head
yeah.
as you like walk by.
So there's emus that usually they're the big, like they look like an ostrich, but they got like they look like they're wearing straw instead of feathers. They're pretty good. They're scared to hell of pretty much everything, and they're very stupid. They'll leave you alone. There's cassowaries, which is the literal evolution of a velociraptor. It actually kills people. And then there's magpies, who are
Really?
the
What
who
are
the
they called?
actual
I
cass-
wanna Google this right now.
cassowaries. They are terrifying.
Castu
S-
Rees.
Cassowaries. I just put Australian cassowaries, and then there are magpies, and they are the actual spawn of
Ca-
Satan.
Cassowary. Are they blue? A cassowary is like blue with like a
They got a, they
crazy
got a,
like
yeah,
fin
they got
on
a,
their head?
yes, they are. They're actually what a
Interesting.
velociraptor evolved into. Um,
Huh.
dude,
They're dangerous, is what you're saying.
Google their talons. Google like cassowary feet, and you'll see why.
Cassowaries talons. Interesting. I'm learning. I'm learning about
You learn.
Oh wow, they have like giant claws.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and they're 6 foot tall. And do you know how they attack you? They leap and then they fly kick you with those claws and literally like just stab you in the chest with like 9-inch swords, essentially. Absolute monsters.
Australia's trying to kill you.
It is, yeah. Let's not. We don't even talk about the crocodiles. Looks like the Chronos are going into mop up mode. They're going into the Blade Guard. Looks like another one of the number has
Yeah,
been picked
putting
up.
the Hellions down at the bottom,
Yep.
putting another banner
Chuck
up,
another
basically.
another banner up. On the right side, there was 2 Terminators that have been picked up. I'm assuming by the shooting from the the Chronos.
Characters. The command squad.
Yeah, there's 2-man command squad there, and there's 1 2-man command squad left. That's still what I believe is in combat with the Archon. Yeah. So it looks like this will be mop up mode. It looks like Mitch may be starting his turn with like 2 models that'll be in combat already. And so this is pretty much the death knell of the Dark Angels, and it's just a matter of how many points did Mitch keep Anthony down on. There is a chance that Anthony is on track for a 100-point game. He has held the vast majority of the board for the vast majority of the turns, and we'll see what happens.
Archduke Mittens is loves your humor.
This is what we're here for, guys. Absolutely, this is what you want. Bearded dragons are another good one. They would kill you if they could, but unfortunately, all they can do is bite your ankles because they're just not that big. But they'll chase you for a country mile. If you see Jack Sparrow, the way Jack Sparrow runs in Pirates of the Caribbean, he modeled that off the bearded dragon and how it runs. It just kind of scoots along like a bit of a spaz. It's great. Um, Yes, come for the Warhammer, stay for the caster storyline. We've got to add flavor to this, and especially seeing as unfortunately this is a little bit one-sided. It's beholden upon us as the casters to keep you entertained by any means necessary.
Any means, and
Yeah,
that
any
includes
means.
any means.
Um, KR Quinn has asked, I thought Mitch was a 40k savant. How is this happening? This happens because of teams, events, bad matchups, and the fact that Anthony Vanilla is, I think, reaching the prime of his career. I don't know much about Anthony, but he's number 10 in the ITC right now. And Mitch, despite being a savant, is rusty by his standards. Like, he's only really played in 1 event. And Anthony is the Drukhari, as Tabletop Idiots has stated. But in your words, what would you, if you were the Drukhari player and you were going into this Dark Angels game on this board going second, how bad do you think you would touch me up if I was a Dark Angels player? Just tell me about it.
Combat drugs can I take?
Whichever ones you want. Let's just say you get your
Perfect.
choice.
Perfect. Then I would bad touch you all over, Adam.
There we go. You heard it. You heard it right here. Summarized in perpetuity.
That is verbatim exactly how it would happen.
Gangster pair of dice. You just popped the bubble, mate. That was going to be Like when the stream is its most boring, and I'm like scraping the bottom of the barrel. There comes the Russell Crowe quotes come out. The Gladiator quotes come out. Yeah.
Well, I for one, Adam, am entertained.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
you're welcome.
you're entertained by Maximus Decimus Meridius,
I
General of the armies of the
definitely
North.
am. Yep, 100%.
Praetor of the Phoenix Legion.
You know
I
what?
can't-
You know what
I can
else?
keep
You know what
going.
else entertains me, Adam? You know what else entertains me? The bosses in the chat that have
Yeah.
and everyone out there that's been helping crush this charity hammer
Mhm.
goal. $20,000, which is literally what like amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think the
Amazing.
goal was like $12,000 originally, and then they upped
Mhm.
it to like $20,000. Now we're gonna
Yep.
have to like double that. Let's do
Dude,
$40,000.
dude, we got another 48 hours.
40,
We got another
yeah,
48 hours of this
yeah,
stream, so let's go for $48,000. Stuff it.
$40,000 for 40K. Right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think we just saw a handshake, guys. I think we just saw this game called. I don't think there's much point in Mitch to continue. He's got the sum total of 2 Blade Guard that are in combat.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I
I'd
think
shake your hand, Adam,
I would shake
if
your
I
hand
could.
too, Scar. I'd give
I
you a
would shake
cuddle
your hand.
actually. I'd give you a big
I would,
old
yeah.
cuddle.
You know what? We could hang out.
We're going to see the final scores updated here. It looks like Nick versus Rich finished 16-4. I'm assuming, I don't know if that's Nick's way or Rich's way. I'm assuming that's Nick's way. In which case, that's a decent score for him. Anthony versus Mitch is done, and it is going to be a 20 to Anthony. He did get enough points to get the 50-point differential.
Spicy, spicy.
There we go. But so that's a 20 coming out from Colin versus Alex McDougall. That is a 4 points from Michael Timpe, and now another 20 for Anthony Vanilla. That's a total of 44 points there. How much do you need to win by to get the or these guys just doing by whoever gets more points? I'm not sure what the breakdown
I
is here.
don't know. I really don't know. I think if it's half a team, it'd be what, 20 points if you wanted to do it like properly.
Well, it's
But,
usually 10. It's 20 points for 8
John and
players.
Mark is very close. Falcon says John thinks he has it.
There you go. Well,
That could be a 10-10. If that's a 10-10 or an 11 or 12,
John
like,
wins. As long as
yeah,
John
then-
wins, his team wins. Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Well, no, because that'll definitely be a win. That's 2 20s in the bag for Lennon and a 4-point loss. And now he has.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because
Yeah.
we had Colin like crush
Yeah.
Alex McDougall.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
he's got 2 20s in the bank already. So literally, as long as John gets a win, that's 3 wins to 2 wins, and he wins the event. He wins the round. His team will reign supreme.
Supreme. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think so. I assume so.
Well, so far it's been great. You know what, Adam? You know what? Going back to the game here that we have in front of us, there's still 6 Chronos on the table.
It's true. It's true. He didn't kill any. Turn 1, I thought he was going to kill 1 or 2. I thought between the heavy bolters and the 2 cyclones, he'd kill 1, maybe 2. Really depending on if the cyclones pop off and get through the invuln. But then how many wounds on the Kronos? Is it 6 or 7?
They are 7 wounds. They are toughness
Yeah. They're
and they have a 5-up feel no pain.
They're a very awkward profile for like every gun in the game.
Yes, they are
yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
Fair enough. We're gonna stick with this. We're gonna stick with them until we get a resolution here, or do we want to just gonna stick with it until we know for sure which way the Lenin Mark game is very close, which way we know one's gonna fall. So just to summarize so far, it's a 20-0 in the Colin Sherman and Alex McDougall game. That's 20 going to Mr. Colin Sherman and the team of the Boy King. And then the next one is coming down as a 16-4 win to Mr. Nick Nanavati. So that means in the sum total, John's team is up by 4 points. Next one coming down is the 20-point win against what? Okay, yeah. So Nick did. It was 88 to Nick, 56 to Rich. So Nick did get a 16-point win there, and so 16-4. So when that brings it back, so that's the 20. So they're up by 4. So now they're down by 16, but then he's got a 20-point win, so they're back to winning by 4. So I think they're winning. Yeah, they're going to be winning by 4 now for Mr. Lennon. That's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close.
It'll come down to John's game, which is it's fitting.
It's on the Boy King's shoulders, Let heavy weighs the crown. Let's see how this goes. So McWeb says, I think they're doing pure battle points, not win versus losses, but the win on John's side are massive, so it looks like it's safe. Now they are doing differential scoring, but I'm not sure if there's a. So usually in ATC, WTC, there's a number of points you can get within that'll count as a draw. Like if you're within 5 points each team is, then it counts as a draw. I'm not sure they're doing that here. I'm thinking if your team wins by 1 point, it's a win. I'm assuming.
Yeah, who knows? Well, it is Charity Hammer, so it's all about the entertainment, folks.
Yeah, agreed. There's some people talking about why isn't FLG doing the point differential for teams? I think it's because they want to take as much burden off the players as possible when they're making, because this is really an entry level teams event they're putting on. It's not the high end ATC or WTC kind of stuff. So how do you feel about that though?
When it's 5, like it changes like what style of list you're gonna see.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
feel it's gonna really encourage like take all comers styles
It
lists
is
instead
for
of like
sure.
the attacker defender style.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, when you're playing 4 and 5 man events, you only really want if you're going to skew, you skew 2 or 3 lists, or don't
Yeah.
skew at all. Don't skew at
Yeah.
all and just take the 5 best lists in the game or the 5 best all comers that you can field. And I feel like that's what it's going for, and that's really what it is though, because it is an entry level event. So you just bring in just stick 5 guys together, tell them to take the best list they can play, and off you go. But you really get into the nuance later in bigger fields when you get the differential stuff. It does bring a lot to the event.
It does. We can't wait for this. Can't wait for this John game to come in so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we can kind of know what's happening. But right now, John's is definitely
Well, there's only 10 minutes left in the
up.
round, so that's the amount of time we're going to be sticking around for, at the worst case.
Yeah, well, that's how it works. Tell me, Adam, tell me more about these Australian animals that want to try and kill me.
All right, you need to Google funnel web spider.
Ooh,
Funnel
Oh, is
web
this gonna give me
spider.
nightmares?
Probably. It's literally the most terrifying. Like when you think about a terrifying looking spider, this is it. This is the embodiment of it.
That thing looks like I definitely don't want it anywhere near me.
It will those fangs it's got will go through a leather boot and get you. It's one of the most venomous and deadly snakes out there. Not because its venom is especially bad,
And by
but because
by snakes you mean spider?
sorry, spider. But because it's so aggressive, it will come at you. It will chase you if you go too near its
Really?
yeah. It's very aggressive, and
Like
very.
that
It
is
packs a
nuts.
lot of toxin.
That is crazy. That is so. Those fangs are like an inch. Like they're like giant fangs.
Yeah. But yeah, worse than that is the white tip spiders as well. And so the bad thing about white tips is that they're so prolific. White tips are everywhere over here. Same as redbacks. Redbacks aren't as bad. Their bites pretty damn painful, but doesn't usually kill you. It's like a really bad wasp sting. But sometimes like smaller children will need medical treatment. White tips the bite kind of like dissolves flesh.
White tips. Oh, that's a nasty looking spider as well.
Yeah, white tips are pretty bad. So tabletop idiots. I said funnel web spiders because it would give him nightmares. When you picture a scary spider, you picture a funnel web spider. They're freaking terrifying to look at.
White tips are everywhere too.
White tips are very common. They're in like most if you went to my roof in my house,
And
there's
they're relatively
probably
small too.
they're relatively small. There's like white tips in like most gardens and households. They love it in there. But my favorite is the huntsman spider.
I've seen that one before.
But see, the huntsman spider, he's your lad. He's your lad spider. You want to have a huntsman in your house because that bastard, he runs down and eats all the other spiders. So if you see a well-fed huntsman in your house, you're like, good for you, son. Keep you around.
And they don't really bite or attack humans.
No, they don't. You can pick them up. Like my brother I don't do this, but my brother and his son and nephew, they just pick them up and just have them on their hands. Just oh, there he is.
Huh. A giant spider, like massive spider.
Yes,
That eats
huge.
other spiders.
Huge. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's called the huntsman because they walk up on the tips of their legs and they chase things down. They hunt things down. They're really cool. I love them. Then we go to talking about the ocean animals. So in addition to having crocodiles, we have salties. We call them salties over here, saltwater crocodiles, which can grow to be like 10 foot long and will eat a man pretty much no problems. We have blue ring octopus, which are these teeny tiny little octopuses that are venomous and will kill you very quickly. And they're freaking tiny, like size of the palm of your hand.
What is this? Sorry. What's tiny?
Blue ring octopus.
Okay.
Yeah. The only reason Australians do not walk around in plate armor is because it's too hot for that. Yeah, you'd probably just die.
You can either cook yourself like an oven
That's right.
or potentially get bitten by a spider.
Yeah. The Australian Ocean is proper messed up. So yeah, we got blue ring octopus. We got blue bottle jellyfish. So think about a plastic bag. So you just on the top of the ocean, you just see a plastic bag floating there, and it looks like it's just a plastic bag with some air in it, but it's a blue bottle jellyfish. And it's got all these stinging tendrils hanging below it to catch fish. And the reason it's so bad is because it just paralyzes you really quickly and you drown. And so if you like swim into one, it's pretty cooked. It's pretty bad. You got to get out of the water like ASAP.
Well, that sounds terrible. Why do people live in Australia again, Adam?
Because they made us. The British made us. They're like, we don't want you,
Did
so
we?
we're putting you.
Did we make you?
Well, yeah, the penal colonies. What do you call that?
You were fallen.
Yeah, yeah. If there was a home for the fallen, it would be in Australia. You're right.
Oh, well, there is a Spartan on the table, Adam.
Yeah. It's a pretty fun. I want to know what game they're setting up for now. I can see Danny. I can see the back of not Chuck there, right there. That is the lovely Danny McDevitt.
I think he's doing some gluing, like emergency glue. Seems to be gluing
Yeah.
some
That
some
happens a
stuff
lot.
together.
That charity
Definitely
hammer.
happens a lot. The Australian Ocean
Wait.
is so deadly that even the reefs are dying.
Yeah, that's pollution. Unfortunately. That's a horrible thing that's happening.
That's sad. That's actually sad.
It's really, really sad.
Yeah.
What other deadly added stuff we have in the reef? So we have the coral snakes as well. They're all up in the barrier reef. We have great whites, but they're nowhere near as bad as people make out. Like people always say, sharks everywhere in Australia. Bah, it's the little
jellyfish
crap.
will kill you before the sharks do.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're much more likely to get smacked
So
up
Mexico,
by one
like in Mexico, I think the worst we would get were scorpions. Like that was the biggest thing. Was just like tons and tons of different types of scorpion. And
so
like the little ones that were see-through were like the most dangerous ones.
It is the little buggers, isn't it?
The little tiny ones that were see-through, they were like the most poisonous ones. And then you had black widow spiders everywhere. Just like just black widow spiders. Like you could literally oh man, it terrified me as a kid. Like they'll kill you too. Anyway.
People are asking for me to give them my rendition of the Emu Wars. So the Australian military literally went to war against the emus in Australia, and we lost. They won that war. How funny is that? There's a quote. So literally, emus were ruining a lot of the farming populations. Like you'd put out hay, you'd put out feed for cattle, pigs, sheep, and flocks of emus would just come in and just eat it all, and they'd eat all your crops. Like if you're trying to grow, corn or apples or anything, they will just, because they're so big and they're so athletic, they will just jump over your fences, just eat everything. And so they asked the government to cull the emus, and the government failed to cull the emus. They were like, we can't do this. This is too much for us. There was a quote by one of the higher ranking military guys who was optioned with this, and he said, if I could get men that could take and still function with as many bullets in them as emus could, Australia would never lose a war. And so what happened was, it would take so many bullets and so long to shoot down and put an emu down that it was no longer worth persecuting the cull, and therefore we lost the Emu War. That is so freaking hilarious.
There's also I've seen pictures of like the mice infestations that you have in out in the outback or whatever.
Yeah, so
like the crazy mouse they're just everywhere. It's like oh my gosh, I've never seen so many mice in my life.
This is what happens when you kill all the dingoes and the wild dogs. This is what happens when you kill all the foxes, even though the foxes are bad in themselves. This is what happens when you kill all the snakes and all those things that keep them all down. And you end up with plagues of stuff because there's nothing to kill all these things off and keep the populations in check. So it's horrific.
You know what we need? More bullfrogs.
We do 100% bullfrogs. All right. we have a quick rundown. Mark and John still playing, but the quick rundown again. Nick won his game against Richard Kilton. We've got a 16-4 win, with the totals being 88 to 56 Nick's way. Then we have we had Colin beat Alex McDougall by around 50 points, getting a 20-0 win. So that's one win for Nick's team, one win for Lennon's team. Then we had Anthony play into Mitch, who won, and Anthony getting a 20-0 against Mitch Pelham. That is Anthony. Geez, what's his surname? Vanilla. And so that is 2 wins. That is 2 20-point wins for Lennon's team, one 16-point win for Nick. And then Brad Chester got a 16-point win for Nick's team as well. So it's 2 20-point wins on the side of Lennon and 2 16-point wins on the side of
So
Nick.
as of right now, Nick's team is down 8 points from.
They are.
Yeah.
They're
So
down.
with those 4 points coming in big, which means that John could even lose by 8 points. Oh,
We just had the final score come in, and John has beaten
18-2. Oh, John's team, the Boy King, victorious in the team event. But
That is right.
all of you are victorious for helping us reach our goal tonight.
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah, let's crush it now.
So, guys, that is it for us. We just saw the end there. The Boy King reign supreme. 3 wins to 2, with 2 of his wins being 20s and 1 being an 18, and his 2 losses being 4-point losses as well. So that did turn out to be quite a bit of a difference. But Mr. Brad Chester and Mr. Nick Nunavite getting wins on their team respectively, but everyone else getting a fatty L. So the total scores for that, what is that? So it's 18, 20, 24, 4. Anybody at home able to do that? For me, I doubt it. I'm going to pull up a calculator. Talk,
That
Drukhari.
is
Cover my ass.
I'm going to be trousers for
20
you today.
plus 20
So
plus...
it's a 40, 50, 66 points to 34 points.
16 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 to 42. Yeah, 66-42. I think there's 2 points missing there. It should be 66-44. I have to account for the 100 points.
For the 2
Whatever.
points at the end there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, 66-44 to Mr. John Lennon.
34.
Apologies, of course. 34.
Yeah.
Matt, there you go. So guys, Sid Pretty, thank you again so much for supporting us. We've already cracked the initial charity hammer target of 20,000. We're going for 30 now, guys. This trend will not stop. We are streaming live and in charge another 48 hours from now. Starting 9 o'clock 9 a.m. PST tomorrow, we will get the first of the GT games. You can enjoy the incredible dulcet tones of the scarred one himself there tomorrow with Mr. Blake Law to open up your viewing experience for all the GT games. Scary, take it away.
Well, thanks for a lot for everybody for tuning in, and of course, go out there, open your wallets. If you haven't donated or you can't, make sure you share the stream, host the stream on Twitch, tell people about it, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, selfies everywhere. But it's thanks to you that this is possible. So thank you very much. We're really excited to be a part of this, and thank you for chatting with us and putting up with our random shenanigans. And I hope you enjoyed it, because this was really, really fun.